This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Yes, it is. Joe Beamer filling in for Mark today. How's everyone doing on this Tuesday afternoon? Hope your day's going great. And I am ready to spend the next 2 days with the fine folks of St. Louis. Today on the show, we'll be talking about the foiled terror plot against the UFC event on Sunday. We'll also be talking about oil prices, oil supplies, our friend Daniel Turner. Talk about the Iran deal. I actually spoke with a member of Congress earlier today, and one of my questions was about Iran. I'll play that back for you. And J.D. Vance was on The View today, and I love J.D. Vance. You know, I think the way he can just laugh. The way he can just talk when people are screaming at him. I thought he did a great job on The View. You see this when he's on that show on CBS, Face the Nation, and he's always getting yelled at by Margaret Brennan. He's always able to stay his cool, hold his composure, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But first, I got to talk about this. What you guys are facing there in St. Louis, the sinkhole downtown. Oh my gosh. I saw those pictures.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Wow. And I see people are still driving at the other end of the sinkhole. I would be staying as far away from sinkholes. They scare the heck out of me. It's one of the things that I just agree. I always fear that one of these days I'm going to be on a road and I'm going to be in the sinkhole. And those pictures from downtown are absolutely concerning.
It turned into a tourist, a tourist attraction, but people from our own city going down to see that thing yesterday. Apparently a bunch of people went down to see how bad it was, and it was bad.
Yeah. They say it will close that section of the 44 for at least another week.
Yeah, it's still closed. They're trying to figure out it exposed some bridge footings, and that's not good.
No.
So they're trying to figure out how safe it is and trying to determine that. So that's why it's closed for another week.
Yeah, you never want, when you can start seeing exposed rebar, you always know that's a bad place to be. I could not believe it. When I saw those pictures, at first I thought I had mistakenly gone onto the Buffalo News' website, because those are just... It's just common to see exposed rebar in the city of Buffalo.
Yes.
So that's going on, and that's absolutely crazy. I have to just warn everybody. I am in a studio with no air conditioning. So and I've been in the studio since noon Eastern time. So just if you're watching on the camera and you're wondering why Joe looks like he just came back from the gym, I'm doing everything I can. But they hid the thermostat from us. It's behind a paywall. So I have to find a way to put the AC on. When we'll get to it. We will. We'll get the AC going. I promise you. Anyone watching the World Cup? Anyone following along?
That's Ethan.
Ethan?
Yeah, I've been paying attention a little bit to it. I haven't been completely tuned into every single game, but enough to, to at least take a nightly look at the scores, see what's going on. So the opening, round, I guess you should say, of group stage where everyone's playing their first game. Certainly some of them matter, but it's kind of setting the scene for what is the later parts of group stage is going to look like. So even though there's been some great games and some upsets even, this is still, in my opinion, the slowest part of the tournament. So I think it's going to really pick up the pace here as far as the excitement and the intensity of some of these games as you get into the next couple of weeks. All of that, excluding Team USA. That was electric last Friday, and I hope that this upcoming Friday will be just as exciting.
Yeah, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock your time.
2 o'clock,
start, which is really just unfortunate because that's when my show ends
in Buffalo. And so I'm going to be in the car for the first 15 minutes of the game, rushing to get home. My buddy's a huge soccer fan. I have to admit, I watch the international stuff. I'm not I don't have an MLS team. I don't have a Premier League team. But I do enjoy the World Cup. I do like watching all the countries. And let me tell you, the friends of mine that are soccer fans, what they are paying to see random countries play each other up in Toronto. Hey, it's the closest the World Cup will ever get to Buffalo. Yeah, that's true. I'm not paying $400 to see Iran and I forgot the game. No, I'm sorry, Iraq and Senegal. I'm going to take a pass.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that Team USA didn't come to the East Coast. If Team USA made an appearance in New York, who knows? Maybe my feeling would be different. But I can't imagine. I mean, it would be tough when Virginia Tech gets into the playoffs to pay $500 for a playoff ticket. I can't justify that for two countries that I really do not care if they advance or not. So that's been a surprising thing to see the amount of people who have made their way over the Peace Bridge into Toronto to see a World Cup game. And we're getting some of the people who have gone to Toronto that want to come see the Falls and then go, wow, that's it. And then come down to Buffalo for a little bit. So that's been fun. It is fun. I love that, it puts a spotlight on the USA and, all the different cities that are hosting. They've got some games going on in Kansas City. Do you have any countries that set up a home base near you guys?
No, there was some rumors about some teams maybe ending up being here in St. Louis as their host city, but I don't think any ended up doing so. We did host an international friendly right before the World Cup started between Bosnia and Herzegovina and Panama, and it sold out. There's a huge Bosnian population here in St. Louis. That was a huge success. And they've been doing watch parties at they did a watch party at Energizer Park on, that would have been Friday night. And I know that there's some stuff going on around the city for the upcoming games as well. So St. Louis certainly has been into it, but no teams being hosted here.
It's amazing. We had a viewing party downtown for the game Friday, but yet we couldn't do away Sabre games in the playoff viewing party. So that's how we do things here in Western New York. We could have had a friendly if our stadium had been done in time. That was if this is on schedule, we could get a friendly of some of the countries that are going to be in Toronto. But of course, just like everything, nothing's done on time. If the sinkhole was here, it would still be a problem 3 years from now. But hey, good for you guys. And like I said, I think it's great to put this kind of spotlight on America. In 2 years, we'll have the Summer Olympics. And I love that. Hey, it's coming together. Hey, we might have our differences in Washington, but unless you're running for Congress in New York, most of us will come together and root for Team USA, no matter our political preference. And that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have these things where we can unite and you don't go to a bar and someone asks, hey, whoa. Did you just clap when Marco Rubio was on TV? That definitely did not happen to me on Friday. Of all the other stuff going on, like I said, J.D. Vance on The View. I want to get into that later in the show. I want to see more of that. I want to see, just as I talk regularly, as I will, any Democrat, any liberal-minded person that wants to come on, wants to have a discussion with me, I love when you see conservatives go to a mostly liberal show like The View and talk. I mean, that's what too many people aren't doing. They're not talking. They're yelling at each other on social media. They're blocking people. I'm blocked by the local Democrat Party in Erie County. Like, why? What's that going to solve? That solves nothing. So it's nice to see J.D. Vance, and I'm hoping to see more of that. Heck, maybe he'll go on Jimmy Kimmel next. Who knows? But it's nice to see things like that, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But when we come back, we're going to talk about this terror plot that was foiled, thankfully, surrounding the UFC event on Sunday night. Now, there's another thing that I have no problem with the UFC event. I thought it looked great. Why was it behind a paywall? Like, why was that not on CBS? It's to celebrate America 250. I think that should have been on network television. That's my only complaint. I know a lot of people are complaining about the use of the White House. They had no problem when Joe Biden had, a trans person taking off their top. But now the UFC event, that's the worst thing they've ever seen. That's not my problem. My problem is, why wasn't it on network television? But there was a terror plot. It was foiled. And we'll be talking with Alex Del Carmen when we come back. It's Joe Beamer filling in for Mark Reardon here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
The roads, we do have a little bit of volume out there on 64. It's just the usual. So west of Kings Highway out through McCausland. But there's an accident reported westbound 6440 approaching 141. And it looks like we've got a jam behind that. Traffic slows again out Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through Wentzville. Now southbound 270, some moderate volume. And that stretches from Page down through Doherty Ferry. We look good through North County. And if you're headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, it's okay at this hour. Eastbound 64 jams at 255 due to the road work there. And of course, 44 remains closed in both directions between the Poplar Street Bridge and the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. That will be for another week. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Summertime is finally here. It's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Mark Cox here. You know, Zero Res can handle every surface in your home. Carpets, tiles, grout, hardwood, laminate, upholstery, all of it. And right now they're having a flash sale. 3 rooms for $129 plus a 4th room for free. Take advantage of this while you can. Call them up or go to their website. That's ZeroResSTL.com. Tell them you want the 97.1 special.
Lakeside Renovation and Design has been really for 25 years St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out, from windows and siding to kitchens, baths, and outdoor spaces, and they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic 97.1 FM Talk.
When it comes to hiring a contractor, you need somebody you can trust. It's Mark Cox, and I want to tell you about my friend Curtis Carrell of the Carrell Roofing Company. Curtis fixed my roof. It was after a major hailstorm. He came the same day, got up, inspected it, and from start to finish, from having the adjuster out, pointing out what he thought was wrong, all the way until it was done, it was a fantastic experience. And that's not just my experience. I have coworkers here at the radio station who've also used Carrell Roofing Company, and a lot of my listeners have taken my advice, and I thank you for that. Curtis goes the extra mile. He just sent his crews out to Kansas City. They got additional training on working with insurance adjusters, making them more likely to get approval on your case. If you've been denied, call Carrell Roofing Company and get Curtis on the case. He's going to do a good job for you. More than 20 years of experience in the roofing industry, and you can take that to the bank. Call him at 314-222-9529 or CarrellRoofingCo.com.
For 250 years, America has been more than a place. It's been a promise, a story of courage, hope, and dreams. And through it all, local TV and radio broadcasters have been there, telling the story of America, bringing truth to light. Broadcasters tell the story of who we are and who we aspire to be. We are America's storytellers. We are broadcasters. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Mark Reardon is St. Louis conservative.
Yes, Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon today and tomorrow. Great to be with you. We are joined this segment by Alex Del Carmen, criminologist with 28 years of experience, former instructor at the FBI National Academy in Quantico, and he joins us now. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So we are learning about this plot at the UFC event at the White House. But before we get to that, what was security like for that event on Sunday? And what does that compare to the level of security for an event on the lawn of the White House?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the outside of the White House in terms of its grid of concern. And what that means is they're going to put FBI agents, Secret Service agents, undercover agents all throughout the perimeter, not at the White House, but close to the White House so that the area of control can actually be maximized. And that's what we had on Sunday. And so it's a national event. So it's treated as if we would treat the Super Bowl or something similar in terms of its airspace, egress, ingress to the White House, as well as the background of the people that are going to be in attendance.
So this plot, when was it learned, and how was it foiled before?
Since June 10th, and so that probably 6 days of notice prior to the event. They probably had some intelligence that they shared with the other federal agencies, including obviously the Secret Service, which assumes primary responsibility for safeguarding the president's life. And so they found out about it. It involves multiple individuals and also multiple states. And so what that means is that they have been working their leads for about 3 to 4 days before they made the arrest. And they found out that they wanted to obviously not only penetrate the White House, but also attack the people inside the White House with drones and snipers as well.
Do we know who was behind the attack?
Not yet, and the feds are not saying much, right? So what we know is that obviously for something that is orchestrated at this level with so many players in so many different states, it requires not only coordination, but also requires money. I would not be surprised, although I hate to speculate, if for an entity that wants our government to be shaken up, especially that they're going after the president, would want to be involved in something like this. But obviously, the feds are very, very careful because it is still an ongoing investigation.
And I understand that, but is it crazy to assume this might have some Iran connection with everything that's going on, even with this new deal? Is it crazy to think they may have been involved?
No question that it's not crazy to assume that. I would say that it is probably, one of the main suspects, right? Because Iran has been for years going after, President Trump, even in his first term. And then now in his second term, given all of the issues that we've seen, the war, and more recently, some of the, even though you may have a peace deal, that doesn't mean that they're not going to have actors across the globe trying to destabilize the United States.
When a conflict like what is going on in Iraq, as you said, the peace deal to be signed later this week, but when there is a conflict like that, how does the FBI respond at home? What changes in the security level when something like that is going on, as we've seen for the last few months?
So I think the FBI, obviously ever since 9/11 has been primarily focused on terrorism in the homeland, but not exclusively, right? And I think what the current administration has done is refocus the FBI to engage in more of an anti-terrorist, organization, which they have been soon after 9/11. Now, what that means in terms of having a foreign entity that we're at war against is that the Bureau is going to be more focused or perhaps a little bit hyper alert towards anything that may come from that entity. And what that means is, are there third parties that may be helping the Iranians in the homeland? Are there individuals that have been radicalized in the United States that may share the common threat, against the United States? You got to remember that, people that hate our country and that hate our way of being are not only foreign agents, right? They're going to find sympathetic individuals in the homeland that may actually share the hatred towards the United States. And so by virtue of that, they're going to penetrate the U.S., penetrate the people, and then radicalize them and engage. And so I would think that the Bureau is looking at cyber warfare, which the Iranians have been known to do, as well as the usage of drones. It has Iran's name all over that. And then, of course, snipers, which also shows that they probably have some sort of a paramilitary background, those individuals that were arrested.
You mentioned 9/11, and coming up is the 25th anniversary of 9/11. We also have the 250th birthday of America on the 4th of July, but being celebrated all summer. Obviously, we had this plot at one of the the first big events of America 250. Are these upcoming days, upcoming weeks that we are going to see an increased insecurity and possibly an increase in conversation?
There's no question that the chatter is taking place about how to infiltrate and attack the United States. I mean, it's always ongoing, right? So this is not something that they do just because it's their 250th birthday of America and all the other things that you mentioned. I think that this is there's an ongoing threat against the United States always. However, what we pay attention to is those landmark dates, right? The dates that are meaningful, not only to us Americans, but also to people overseas, about making a point, right? Making a point that they hate us, that, you know, they don't want us to celebrate our democracy, and what is the best way that they can infiltrate us, right? Which is essentially to look for those dates and create panic, create chaos. Now, the security is going to be tight in all of these events. I have no doubt the local and federal law enforcement partners are working together to do that. Is it going to be immune from it? Absolutely not. Nothing ever is, right? We can never, unfortunately, guarantee that an event of any magnitude is going to be foolproof against any terrorist attacks of people that have the will, have the means, and have the money to be able to carry it out. So unfortunately, we have to be on guard always. It's part of being our great democracy that we are. And unfortunately, we have people that hate us and they want to undermine everything that we do in the homeland.
Now, I'm not talking about this current administration, but, you know, over the 25 years we've had, you know, we had the Bush administration, the Obama administration, Trump 1, Biden, Trump 2. At times over the last 25 years, do you think that we have let our guard down from that highest level right after 9/11?
It always seems to suggest, history does, that we do, right? And what I mean by that is that we have a very short attention span in the United States, I think, towards what's going on in the world and what's going on in the homeland. I mean, as you know, the news, they move so quickly and so fast. In a given day, we may be focused on 5, 6 different stories, and it depends on the by minute as to which one we follow. And I say that to say that I think our attention span and our if you want to call it, our concern about the United States is always coming in segments. And I think right after 9/11, you know, people were so concerned about their safety, they were willing to pay more taxes and do whatever it took, right? Make longer lines at the airport, you know, change to a more professional entity, i.e. the TSA at airports, in order to establish a better security protocol. I mean, we were willing to do a lot, right? And I think that some of that has faded. And, you know, you see people, young people now, hard to believe that were born after 9/11. They've known no other world except the world post 9/11 in the United States and throughout the world. And I think that what happens now is you look at those folks and they watch the videos. They may, you know, read an original clipping from a newspaper about 9/11, but there's no emotional connection. And I think that sometimes we tend to forget that when we make decisions about going forward. And unfortunately, what that does is it creates that, you know, that effect that we're going to have to go through one of these again in order to remind this generation how important it is to have security at our forefront.
You know, I don't think anything ever made me feel older than when I was at work and I asked one of my coworkers where they were on 9/11, and they said they weren't alive yet. And
Right.
I still can vividly remember 7th grade, 9/11, and every classroom we went to had just the TV on. I mean, it's one, you know, I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I vividly remember 9/11, 7th grade. And it's crazy that I now work with people who weren't even alive.
And you also work with people like me that were not in the 7th grade. They were actually teaching at a university when 9/11 took place. I went to get their kids out of school, right? So I mean, but the point that you're making is a good one in the sense that age is relative, but at the same time, you know, generations are affected by what they see and they experience. I mean, we know the World War II generation, you know, experiencing the war overseas, but then also Pearl Harbor, right? And various other things that really woke up America to engage in the world conflict. And I think that, you know, we see that today, right, where you have 9/11 becomes a point of reference historically for a lot of people, but not necessarily an emotional point. And unfortunately, you know, now we've seen more attempts on the current president than before. We've seen that people feel really unstable when they go overseas. You know, and when you show your American passport, you become a target in a foreign entity, right? So I think that we have to really be careful in how we move forward to make sure that Americans are safe and that we feel safe, right? That's equally as important as being safe as well.
Absolutely. Hey, Alex, always great talking with you. Thank you so much.
You as well. Thank you.
That is Alex Del Carmen, criminologist with 28 years of experience and former instructor at the FBI National Academy at Quantico. When we come back, we're talking with the founder and executive director of Power of the Future, Daniel Turner. It's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this afternoon, we've got a stall reported. It's eastbound 44. Right there at the ramp to southbound 270, it's on the right shoulder, and the left shoulder is blocked with a stall on northbound 170 just before 270. So that's the sort of thing we're dealing with this afternoon. Accident-wise, an accident westbound 6440. It's pretty close to Maryville Center Drive. Now, this one is blocking the 3 right lanes, and it is jammed behind it, at least back to 270, and it's creeping back toward Lindbergh. And it's also a slow go, Kings Highway out through McCausland. Southbound 170, a slow go, headed for 64. 70 looks pretty good out of downtown. Out west, some volume at Highway A, and 64 slow in out through the 70 split. On the Illinois side, we've got road work again. And this is on eastbound 64 approaching 157. Little bit of a slowdown through there. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire. At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Gentlemen, Mark Cox here. When's the last time you actually felt like yourself? Victory Men's Health specializes in hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, and longevity. It's built for everyday men who just want to feel better and perform their best. They already have offices in Town and Country, Sunset Hills, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. They're about to open a new location in Glen Carbon very soon. It's a higher standard of care just waiting for you. Learn more at victorymenshealth.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Take your lawn from good to great with my friends at Lawn Enforcement. I'm talking expert lawn care services to keep your lawn in order. And here's what they'll do for you. Anybody can mow your grass. At Lawn Enforcement, they want to enhance your property. They'll do the mowing and the trimming. They'll fertilize and implement a weed control program and erosion control, which includes retaining walls if you need it. They can landscape, they can design and install your flowers, your shrubs, your trees, all of your hardscapes. No project is too big or too small for my friends at Lawn Enforcement. You can check them out online at yourlawnenforcement.com. So instead of envying your neighbor's lawn. Your neighbors are going to be wishing they had the lawn and landscape that you have. Go ahead and enjoy your space. Be proud when you entertain your friends and your family. They've been in business for over 30 years. Be sure and tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to yourlawnenforcement.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The time is 3:33. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
From O'Fallon, Missouri to O'Fallon, Illinois. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So we saw just overnight that the price of oil has gone down, $4.50 a barrel. So that's already happening. Now it's going to take some time to work that oil through the strait and out into markets, whether it's 30, 60 days. But yeah, prices are going to come down, and they're going to come down immediately. And it's going to take time for us to get back to where we were before the war started, but we're going to be in a better place.
That was Sean Duffy this morning on Fox News. Yes, when will I see it at the pump? Well, to talk about that and much, much more, founder and executive director of Power the Future, Daniel Turner. Daniel, great to talk with you again.
Hey, great to be on the program. Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. So Daniel, yeah, tell us this this process. Right now, we are told the strait is open, and we see, Fox has that ticker in the corner of the screen 24/7 where you're seeing the oil prices come down. So when will my oil prices go down?
It will take a little while. 2 weeks, I think, will be when you'll really start to feel it. And the reason why is very simple. Just think about the logistics of opening up a gas station, right? Joe Beamer opens up a gas station, builds the whole darn thing out, puts his 500,000 storage gallon tank below ground. And the very first time you have to buy gasoline for that storage tank, you're going out of pocket. Right. So and then when people buy gas, you're recuperating your losses, and then you're buying the next one going out of pocket. Right. So gas stations are always 1 or 2 cycles behind what you are purchasing. So the gas that you're putting in your car right now, that guy bought that last week and he hasn't recovered his losses yet. And the gas he has to buy for next week, he's going out of pocket. So it takes a little while for gas stations to bring down prices because they have to look towards the future. The reason why I give such a long explanation is because it's really easy for Democrats, for the media to just say gas stations are greedy, right? They're not greedy. Gas stations make more money off of soda and Doritos than they do off of gas itself. You know who's greedy is your government. And that's something also really important to mention when we talk about gas. The biggest profiteer for every gallon of gas in your car is government. It makes more than the big oil companies. It makes more than the drillers, the producers, the refiners, the transporters, the shop you actually bought the gas at. The biggest profiteer, the biggest piggy eating out of that trough is government. They make more money per gallon than anybody. So if you really, really want to talk about long-term gas prices coming down, ask people to lower gas prices at your state level. But, government doesn't like to do that. They just like to blame Donald Trump.
Especially the blue states. I mean, I live in a county in New York State that's bluer than blue. And when Joe Biden was president, they had no problem eliminating that gas tax when election time was around. But now, nope, they all voted to not eliminate the gas tax, and so did the state. So in New York, we are still paying $4.50, $4.60 a gallon, and you just have to hop over to Pennsylvania and see that they're under $4.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you go to places like Missouri or Oklahoma, it's $1.50 a gallon cheaper. Now they're unhappy because they don't want to pay $3.25 a gallon because they're used to paying $2.15. But they have it much better than we do, and the delta is government policy. The government is how the delta there of why prices are cheaper in other states and why it's $6.40 a gallon in California is because of government policy at the state level. It's absolutely insane, but this is Democrats at work. There's not a commodity they don't want to tax.
No, and they want to tax gas because they want to force you to buy your electric car, just like they keep on adding another dollar or two to cigarettes. Now I'm not saying go out and buy a pack of cigarettes, but they're using the same strategy when it comes to gas because they want to force you into that electric car.
That's a great point. And the electric car market took quite a hit during the last 18 months, and it's mostly because of the government subsidies are gone. Right, it's remarkable how the Democrats, how the Biden administration claimed the electric cars were doing so well as an industry when they were giving Ford hundreds of millions of dollars to build the F-150, and they were giving the consumer $7,500 to buy the Ford F-150 Lightning. Suddenly, all that money disappears because we're not Keynesians, right? All that money disappears. And what did Ford 3 months into the Trump administration do? It announced they're no longer making the F-150, right? And you know who really loses off of that is the poor guy who went to go work for the Ford F-150 Lightning Company, right? I feel bad for that guy. I don't rejoice that he lost his job, but this is what happens when government decides they know better than the market, when government decides what you're going to drive and what we're going to produce. It's quite frankly the same with wind and solar. A lot of wind and solar folks have lost their job. I don't celebrate that, but that doesn't mean I support government subsidizing an industry that the market does not want. And that's exactly what Joe Biden did for 4 years.
Absolutely. Now, Daniel, obviously we're talking about the straight opening and we see the prices today, but what are some of the other things to look out for that, might delay or might keep prices a little higher going into the summer? That's, with the straight completely opening. What are some other things that we might have to deal with when it comes to oil prices?
Well, gas prices are normally highest in the summer generally because it's when people are using their cars the most and traveling the most, right? It's gas prices, it's jet fuel prices because everyone's on vacation, right? People take the great family road trip and you take your junior and high school daughter to go look at colleges and all of that stuff. So gas prices are always high this time of year. So just seasonally, they will stay a little higher than normal. I think if the stability lasts in the region, and you're playing with Iran, and they're not exactly the world's best actor. But if this holds and oil stays where it is now, which is just around $80 a barrel, that will be the most important indicator, right? The markets have been desperate for a sign of regional stability. They've had it for the last 2.5 days, and if it continues on this path, oil will drop back to where it was before all of this began.
Now, also, we have the strategic oil supply that we know Biden unloaded to get prices down. Where does that stand now, and does that need to be topped off?
It does. The problem here, though, is that filling up 500 million barrels of oil is a slow dance, right? If you just took, if you took 500,000 barrels a day and filled up the reserves, that's a huge percentage of how much we consume as a nation. We consume around 20 million barrels a day, right? So that's a really big percentage of oil going into the reserves. And at that rate, we're talking a couple of years to fill up the reserves. So it's a delicate dance, right? It's like any time you do any sort of storage, right? Or even when you're taking money out of your paycheck to put it into investment or 401k or buying SpaceX stocks, right? Like how much can I take so that I can put it aside where it doesn't hurt what I need on the day-to-day? Those strategic petroleum reserves were designed for very, very quick drainage. And it was designed for that way, to drain them quickly for emergencies. It wasn't designed for that emergency to be saving the midterms for Joe Biden. And that's what he did. And it worked, right? He saved his 2022 midterms. He kept the Senate. He got all of his judges confirmed. He got all of his appointees confirmed. He kept Chuck Schumer as majority leader, right? So draining 500 million barrels a day very quickly worked for him. It did not work for America. And refilling those 500 million barrels, we're not even close to refilling it. It's going to take a very long time. Again, just another example of the lasting legacy of what Joe Biden did to this country.
Amazing how at the time, no one in the mainstream media wanted to call that out. If that was
No.
Trump, my gosh, they would have broken into the World Cup to tell us what was going on. I mean, it's just so
It's a huge point. Absolutely. It's a huge point, but you just get away with it. And that's We all know there's a double standard of the media, and you know that, and that's why, they hate shows like yours. It's why they hate, as a whole, they hate talk radio. It's why they hate podcasts, because you are the only other voices out there. They want to control the narrative completely. But yeah, if you're on the left, you can drain the strategic reserves. You can have a Nazi tattoo and be on a sexual predator, a sex platform with an active profile. All that's fine, right? It's all good. It's no big deal. It's no big deal if they do it. So we're used to the double standard. It just doesn't make it less infuriating.
Absolutely. Hey, Daniel, I'm going to have you on in Buffalo soon to talk about there's a fracking bill that's been proposed. You and I both know it won't pass, but just how ridiculous it is that you have people in New York State running on affordability, yet they will not take advantage of what's beneath our feet here in New York State.
I would love to come and talk about that, because if New York just looks at its neighbors to the south, Pennsylvania, by every metric, is more successful. Rural Pennsylvania counties are way more successful than rural New York counties. And it's because of this nonsensical fracking ban. Even Pennsylvania's Democrat governor and Democrat legislature is pro-fracking because they see how it has benefited their state's economy. It's sad our beloved New York state still has its head in the sand.
Yeah, they'll take Terry Pagula's money when it comes to the Bills and the Sabres, but they won't frack in their own state.
Exactly.
Hey,
It's very
Daniel,
frustrating.
Always great talking to you, man. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
That is founder and executive director of Power the Future, Daniel Turner. Now, when we come back, earlier today, I spoke with Congressman Nick Langworthy, New York 23, and we were talking about some stuff here, but he did give a comment on Iran. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to play back his comments on Iran, as obviously this is something that's unfolding. So when we come back, we'll do that. It's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Westbound 70 drivers, it really looks good in downtown. Little bit of moderate volume from Bryan Road out through the Wentzville area. It's not bad. 64 is lined up. It's Kings Highway out through McCausland, slowing again at 270 and at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Now, eastbound is a little slow at 270 and then again at Big Bend, and a little bit of volume headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. Now, southbound 270, slow pockets. It's Page down through, looks like Gravois now. 55 isn't bad. And if you are headed on the Illinois side on eastbound 64 toward 157, it's a slow go just due to road work. We also have 44 closed in both directions between the Poplar Street Bridge and the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis, full of the latest, most custom designs, and it's located in Chesterfield Valley. There you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
97.1 FM Talk in action.
It's Mark Cox. Our friends at the USO Missouri are looking for volunteers. From Lambert Airport to Fort Leonard Wood, volunteers help provide comfort and support to those serving our country. Learn more at missouri.uso.org.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined, and the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441 all fours. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Mark Reardon Show is St. Louis conservative.
Beamer in for Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk on a Tuesday. Let me tell you, yesterday went by so slowly. I woke up thinking it was like Wednesday or Thursday, but it's only Tuesday. Hopefully everyone is having a great day. So the Iran deal. We've heard so much about this Iran deal. I'll tell you, I don't trust the Iranians. And, we'll have to see what the provisions are, what the punishment will be if they break this deal. But earlier today, on my show in Buffalo, I had Congressman Nick Langworthy on. And obviously, since I had him on the line, I had to ask him about Iran. And I thought it would be nice to share with you what a sitting member of Congress is saying about the Iran deal. So this is from about 2 hours ago, Congressman Nick Langworthy. I'd like to know your thoughts on the Iran deal, pros and cons, and what you're looking forward to going forward.
I'm looking forward to some briefings when we return to Washington. We can't afford to get into a forever war. I have been in full agreement with the president that we need a diplomatic solution out of this. It would have been great to see regime change. That has to come from within, though. The United States of America can't dictate to a country of 93 million people in Iran who their leadership should be. And, I had hopes seeing protesters in the streets, well, maybe this totalitarian regime would fall. That doesn't seem to be the case. Now, remember, their citizenry is not armed. That's why the Second Amendment is so damn important, that we have to, have a citizenry that can defend itself. But, they went out and killed all those protesters. I mean, these aren't good people we're dealing with. I mean, we can't look at the opportunity to have this wind up in a deal as a blue ribbon decision that this is a good group of people we're sitting across the table from. But I do not believe that, this country is prepared for, and I certainly have not, seen purpose yet for us to commit ground troops for the long haul. That takes a nationwide discussion, an attack on our soil. They have been the largest state sponsor of terror. And that's why I felt so strongly that depleting them militarily, preventing them from obtaining and using a nuclear weapon, that's a no-brainer decision. That made sense. You go take out their nuclear capabilities, take out their military capabilities, take out their ability to wage war. But, to bring regime change, I don't believe that's our job right now. And I know some won't like that. Some want, I hear a broad array of opinions in my constituents. I believe in the platform we ran on, which is, no more endless wars without a purpose. There has not been a clear objective as to why we should have a long-range commitment. There's obviously huge strategic global interests on the Straits of Hormuz and the energy reserves in this country.
that cannot be allowed to be a choke point for the Iranian regime to extort people. If this brings that to a close, if we prevent them from having a nuclear weapon, we prevent them from waging terror on the region and on the globe at large, those are important objectives for us to achieve. But the idea of us taking a military step here that would require a large military presence of boots on the ground where our soldiers are in combat missions, I have not seen enough data that would make me comfortable supporting that at this point. And I don't think the president wants to go in that direction. And that's why he's been so insistent on keeping these talks open with an impossible actor to negotiate with. And it's required patience, and certainly the president's detractors have shot their mouth off plenty about that. But a long-range military commitment is not something I feel that there's an appetite in this country for at this point. I take the commitment of troops very seriously. It's one thing to be a police force out in the ocean or out on our bases on friendly soils. It's another thing altogether when we're talking about invasions. And it's just too fresh in the memories from Iraq and Afghanistan, where we left both of those countries. One of those wars we got in under some fairly false pretenses, and another one was in response to an attack on our nation's soil. But we were there for far too long, and there was a lot of American bloodshed. So I look forward to kind of looking into the real data within this deal and the facts. But if we have a diplomatic solution, that's in the Straits open, and there's free trade, on the energy market around the world, and some of the foreign partners have a role to play in making sure that this deal holds. I do think that is something that is a positive outcome.
That was Congressman Nick Langworthy. We will talk more about Iran later in the next hour. All after this, it's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
70 westbound looks good out of downtown. Eastbound, a little bit of volume there right at 270. And then westbound, maybe some moderate volume here and there in pockets out through Wentzville, but not bad. 64 is slow, and this is Kings Highway out past McCausland. Southbound 170 lines up at Olive, headed for 64. And eastbound 64, a little slow there at Big Bend. Westbound, some moderate volume at Clarkson, and then Highway N out through the 70 split. 55 really is in good shape. There was a little bit of volume north of Herculaneum, but that's it. And some volume headed for the Poplar, but really it's only moderate. There is a jam eastbound 64 passing 255, headed for 157, and that is due to road work. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Hey, I want to talk about ThrottleNet. George Rosenthal does a segment with us every Tuesday called Tech Talk Tuesday. I was finally over to their building, and I took a tour, and I got to see firsthand how they do it with all the monitors. If there's a company out there, they do everything IT, right? They're not an internet provider. They're going to protect you and your IT, make sure you're not, in a situation where you could have the wrong click that cost you a lot of money, or a hack or anything like that. Ransomware attacks, right? We know that those happen. No client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So if you are looking for a great company here in St. Louis, and they're very proud of their under 90-second response time for business IT support. When I was in the office, I saw the monitors. And if the call goes past 90 seconds, all these red lights go off, and they make sure that they're right on top of it. They want to take great care of you. So go to throttlenet.com/971. That gets you a free baseline IT security audit. Gives you a great starting point, and then you know what to do. You're going to hire them because they do such great work here in St. Louis. Throttlenet.com/971. Tell them that we sent you over. ThrottleNet.
All righty, we are here in summer
And a lot of us are finding that our air conditioners doesn't seem to be cooling cool in the morning, but by afternoon it never shuts off, and then while you're sleeping it'll start cooling the house down. You're wasting a lot of money on energy, on your electric. We know how high our electric bills are getting. If that's happening to you, call me. Come out there and take a look at it and get it fixed for you pronto. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, easy number for Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Details to come. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
What exactly did we get out of Trump's failed war?
Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer is demanding to know what's in a memorandum of understanding to end the military conflict with Iran. President Trump at the G7 summit in France says maybe he'll read the text word by word out loud when it's released.
That's a good document. Here's what it says. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's what it says.
He says he's optimistic about a final deal with Iran now that that framework is agreed to, and Iran's nuclear program, sanctions relief, and frozen assets will be negotiated in new talks. There are 5 arrests in 4 states, and the investigation continues into an alleged plot to attack Sunday's UFC event at the White House with explosive-packed drones and then sniper fire.
The FBI became aware of the plot last Wednesday after a parent of 19-year-old Tyson Proper alerted police to concerning behavior. He was arrested near Columbus, Ohio. Court filings say investigators learned from Proper of a Signal group chat involving as many as 23 individuals, calling itself Vanguard of the Old.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Anti-ICE protesters are charged in Minnesota.
The U.S. Attorney's Office and the Department of Homeland Security unsealing a federal indictment charging 15 people with alleged ties to 2 Minneapolis Antifa terror groups stemming from Operation Metro Surge earlier this year. U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen.
To those who choose to threaten or harm federal officers, we will hold you accountable. We will defend federal officers. We will protect the public. We will enforce the law.
Homeland Security saying the announcement comes after a months-long investigation that uncovered extensive planning, material support, stalking, and coordinated attacks against federal personnel and facilities. 13 of the accused are in custody. 2 remain fugitives. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Infant mortality in the U.S. hits an all-time low, 5.4 deaths per 1,000 lives births, according to new federal figures from last year. America's listening to Fox News.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask Chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your health, how do you know what's right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements. Not trends, your biology.
Learn more at Viome.com/know.
V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOM50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Let's warm it up a few degrees this afternoon, all thanks to a breezy southerly wind, partly sunny skies, 83. Tonight, partly cloudy, 63. Wednesday, partly sunny, a windy day. Couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms around, but limited during the day. Warm and humid, 89. Best chance for showers and thunderstorms will be Wednesday night, 70 for the overnight low. We cool it back into the 70s on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
It is Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon, hour number 2. Great to be with you. You know, we were talking about the World Cup during the beginning of the show. I forgot to mention how much I dislike the hydration break. That was just another excuse for Fox to play some spots. But that I forgot that was coming. And then all of a sudden, there's the hydration break. Yes.
Joe, it's Fred Bottomer. And it kind of turns a soccer game into, rather than, 2 halves, like 4 quarters.
Yes. Oh, really? You guys, how long are these things?
A minute and a half.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They play 3 spots and then come back, yeah.
Wow.
And now it's like, I'm watching the France-Senegal game, and it's 8 minutes of stoppage time, because, the hydration break was in there. So that's already adding to, because they don't stop the clock, Sue. Of course, they can't stop the clock.
Of course not.
So,
wait, what? That makes no sense.
Yeah, there's no stopwatch.
We're hydrating on the clock?
So, on the clock. This is on the clock hydration.
So professional soccer, Sue, doesn't stop the clock, and it counts upward. So it starts at 0 minutes, and it goes up to 45.
Oh.
And then once you get to the end of each half, they add what is called stoppage time. So, for example, if a foul is called, if there's an injury on the field, the clock doesn't stop. It keeps running, but what the ref is doing, one of the refs, is tallying how much time where there's basically nothing going on. It's between play.
I see.
How much does that add up to? And at the end of each half, they will add on stoppage time. So, for example, the game that just ended, they added on 8 minutes of stoppage time.
Oh, my gosh.
So the game,
Why
in
don't we just
regulation,
stop the clock,
played
people?
99 minutes instead of 90
Ethan,
minutes.
that is dumb. And why?
It's just how they've always done it.
Oh, my gosh, that's so crazy. It's the freak show. Just stop the clock. You don't have to add. Nobody needs to do math.
That's
Fred,
only,
is it me?
That's
No.
only a professional thing. College does the countdown from 45 minutes, and it goes, and they stop the clock. I don't know why they do it.
You know what? You know what confuses me is if you would score in the extra time, in the stoppage time.
Yeah.
It would be like
yep.
the 48th minute. Okay. And then when they start up the clock again for the second half, it starts back at the 45th minute.
Well, here's the thing. They don't count it as a 48th minute
It's
goal.
45 with,
45
with
plus 3. That was what they would do. They would say the 45th, they would say the 3rd minute of extra time in the first half or whatever.
Wow, I would really have to get used to that.
I'm still trying to say kits and pitch. All
How's that going? How's it going?
This is
I'm
America.
doing better.
We call it the jerseys and the field. That's how I refer to it. But the hydration break already makes it. You're already up to 3 minutes or 4 minutes of stoppage time guaranteed because you got that 90 seconds already built in now to the stoppage time.
I really wonder
break.
where that began. I'm going down the rabbit hole. You talk amongst
This
yourselves.
might be a really good Sue's news for
it's a
sometime
random
this
fact.
week. Yeah,
oh
that's
my
right.
gosh, that makes no sense.
Aren't they saying, though, that it's needed because so many of these players come from countries where it's not as hot as it is in the United States or in North America?
That's exactly
why they have to put it in.
That's exactly why it's so hot here right now compared to England, Germany, these countries where it doesn't get nearly this hot that they have to put it in there. It's not a slam dunk guarantee that it is. It hasn't been in past World Cups because it hasn't been needed. I believe it has to fit a certain criteria of temperature in order for them to use it. If it's cool enough, they won't use it. But if it's above a certain temperature, then they'll use it.
Here's what AI says. I said, why in the world does soccer do this all crazy? He said, the clock counts up So both players and fans know exactly how much game time has passed rather than how much time is remaining. What's the difference? And then it says continuous play. The clock runs continuously without stopping for routine delays. The ball goes out of bounds. The clock. Why?
That seems like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like the legitimate reason to me.
It doesn't. And it says,
just seems too dumb for it to be the reason.
Right. So that makes no sense to me. All right. So I continue to be stumped.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'll flip on the MLS. I'll watch St. Louis when they're on nationally. But I do get into it for the World Cup. But those are the things that just the hydration break. I forgot it was coming, and then Friday night we get that, and all of a sudden I was like, it's not halftime. Why am I seeing this Will Ferrell commercial?
That's the real reason why hydration breaks are a thing now, is because it's an opportunity to fit in more commercials.
Okay,
that's why.
I just got a text from Dan Buck who said, Sue, stop trying to put logic to a sport that doesn't allow you to use your hands or your arms, and the most athletic thing God gives us is hand-eye coordination. Apparently, the referee's hand-eye coordination would not allow them to stop a stopwatch occasionally.
Wow.
I'm with you.
That was very intense.
That makes no sense.
Dan really went. Dan's got some pent-up aggression against the sport of soccer.
Thank you, Dan.
For sure.
I'll just say, soccer, it's been going on for so long that when soccer first came out, you could only have one clock. No one had stopwatches or anything. It's like, well, we got to keep this thing going.
That's right. No one can be trusted.
We can't have someone climb up to the scoreboard and turn the clock off.
That's just really interesting. So I haven't heard a good reason. It's just how they do it, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't heard one either.
Okay. All right.
It's soccer for you. And, I also have a problem with the person who made this USA schedule. My gosh, it was 8 o'clock on Friday, right? 9 o'clock my time. And now it's going to be at 2 o'clock this Friday. And then, the following Thursday, it's at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. my time on a Thursday.
Oof.
I don't know. I also wish they would have, done more than just the West Coast. Done a game in the Midwest, done a game out east. How many times are we going to get the World Cup?
That's the reason that they're keeping them in one spot is I believe that each of the groups are regionally based. So, for example, the U.S. is playing all of their games in Los Angeles and Santa Clara, so they're not having to travel all over the country for a few-week period. And then a certain group of teams will play in the Midwest, a certain group of teams will play out east. I think that's the reason why they're doing it. And it allows for fans of those teams to not have to travel all over the country as well.
Why couldn't they allow the host country like USA to have 3 primetime nighttime games?
That is where I don't understand the reasoning. Here is my theory. I think that FIFA is trying to appeal to the other countries that are playing as well. And I don't know this for sure, but I know that a lot of these times, some of these times have been 11 o'clock starts at night, over this past weekend. And I know at least for Australia, they played a really late game here in U.S. time or wherever it was, but during their day, it was at 2 in the afternoon or something like that. So I wonder if there is some sort of trying to appeal to the times in which they are starting in the other countries, which still doesn't make sense to me. I'm we finally have the World Cup hosted here.
Yeah.
We've always had to watch at the most random times. Why can't you give us our prime time spots?
Throw us
appeal
something.
to us.
Yes.
Yeah, so I agree with you guys on that one.
Huh.
I remember when I went to the Olympics in '96 in Atlanta. I thought it was cool. My gosh, this game's starting at midnight. But now my kid's gonna get up at 5:30 regardless of what time the USA game starts. I gotta be at work. It's not as fun as it was in '96 when I had no worries whatsoever.
What game did you see in '96?
Oh, was I too random? We saw a bunch of stuff, but I remember one game didn't start till 11 p.m. It was 2 random countries. Men's field hockey, I think it was.
Oh my god!
And,
whoa!
We saw everything. We saw everything when we got there. Right when Olympic Park had reopened from the bombing. And I remember I was scared to walk through, and my parents had to talk me into going through the reopened Olympic Park. But we saw basketball, baseball, and men's field hockey. We saw some other things, but I was 8, so I forgot. But I remember thinking how cool it was. This is, it's 11 o'clock. This game's starting. It's not as cool anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not school, so especially when I want to stay up. So, like, do I take a day off? No, I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, I will stay up. I mean, let's be honest. I'm gonna stay up and fight through it. But 10 o'clock on a Thursday, I don't know. That's not very accommodating to us Americans.
It's not. It certainly is not.
How bitter will you be by the time you get to that second hydration, whatever the heck? I would be so bitter.
I'll be bitter, and I'll just be sitting there going, like, I'm going to be up in 4 hours anyway. But, I shouldn't complain. I can take my son to daycare and then go home and take a nap before I have to go to work. So I guess those are the positive things. I also have jury duty coming up, but we'll talk about that later in the show. When we come back, Sue's News, it's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Hey, if you are westbound on 70 out of downtown, it looks fine. It's a little slow at Lindbergh through the Blanchette Bridge. Moderate volume here and there past it. But that's it. And southbound 170 slowing down between, looks like Olive down through 64 and westbound 6440. It's moderate volume. But it's Kings Highway out through McCausland a little bit at Boone's Crossing and then at Highway N in pockets out through 70. Now, on the Illinois side, eastbound 64 still slowing at 255. We've got that road work, 5564, right at 3rd Street causing delays, and 44 remains closed downtown between the Poplar Street Bridge and the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge, all due to road work. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Point Pest Control is reminding you it's time to spray for mosquitoes. How can something that tiny interrupt your outside gatherings? Have Point Pest Control spray today so your next outside gathering is mosquito-free. 636-798-0023. Mention Annie to save an additional 10%. PointPestControl.com.
When it comes to your retirement, are you doing anything to think about retirement? Because you need to, and it's certainly something, and I can relate because I had a 50th birthday present. That was my daughter. She's now 11. And at that time, you don't really think about retirement that much. Well, now it's 11 years later, and those 11 years went by very quickly, and I'm thinking about it a lot more. If you're 59 and a half or older, that's kind of a key age right now for the Retirement Advisor Group. You can roll your 401k into a different plan. They're going to give you options on how you can have income for the rest of your life, and that's not easy. We know that because of inflation, and the market's a little wonky right now. How do you lock in the earnings that you've had and not lose your principal? Why have clients of Thomas Helbig and the team at the Retirement Advisor Group never lost their clients a penny of their principal? Well, they can really kind of walk you through this, and I want you to go right into the office, 314-993-9494, or online, retirementkey.com, and do us a favor. Tell them that we sent you in. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, his nephew, Bob's wife, Tammy, family-owned and operated, the Retirement Advisory Group at retirementkey.com.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire. At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Data centers don't wait, and neither should your supply chain. From power and connectivity to racks and critical power, Graybar brings the products and the experience data centers need now. And with deep inventory and logistics expertise, we keep projects moving from first delivery to final install. With hundreds of locations and a nationwide delivery fleet, we help you bring facilities online, on time, and on budget. Yep, Graybar does that.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week, new segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
Mark Reardon is St. Louis conservative.
It's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon, and it is now time for Sue's News.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment. It's not clear messaging.
And now, Sue's News. Brought to you by Sue.
On this day in history, 123 years ago today, Fred, it's 1903.
Okay.
And one of the biggest days in U.S. business history, Ford Motor Company was incorporated. Oh. Ford is 123 years old today. That's impressive.
I didn't know the car was that old.
Yeah.
Have you guys owned any Fords during your days?
I did.
Yeah.
The very first car was a Mustang.
No
wow,
kidding.
Fred, you are
sheesh,
not
Fred.
to try,
Chill
Fred.
out.
Yeah, a used
Ladies,
Mustang
man.
that broke down right away.
Wait,
well.
is that the one that was a stick shift, but you weren't sure
right.
how to drive it?
Yeah, I bought it for a date, and I had to learn to drive it.
I drive a Ford Fusion now, and then my wife also drives a Ford Fusion.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
I mean, at this point, it's just like, hey, what can I get a good deal on with a used car? So it's not really much about the brand, the make it model at this point, but you know.
We had a Maverick that was filled with rust. But way back in the day, when my parents got their second car, and then that went away. But I had an Escape for a while that I really liked.
I wanted an Escape for my first car.
Yeah.
My neighbor had a dark gray one that I thought was just really
so
sharp.
pretty.
I'm like, that'd be a good first car.
Yeah.
But I couldn't afford it.
That's not how that works.
It's all right.
I get it. And also on this day in history, now this is before my time, but I found it interesting. 67 years ago today, in 1959, TV Superman George Reeves was found shot to death at his home, but no one can agree on whether he killed himself or whether he was murdered. And apparently they ruled it as a suicide, but there were no fingerprints found on the gun, and gunshot residue test was not done. So they can't tell if he had it on his hands. He was 45 at the time. This is like one of those Hollywood unsolved mysteries.
Yeah.
And I kind of went down the rabbit hole on it today. And it sounded like George was living with somebody he was dating, but he had just dated somebody else who was somehow part of the mob. And even though her husband knew that he was dating his wife, they had broken up. And there's a theory that the husband and wife somehow shot him. Had him taken out. But why? I don't know. But if you want a good mystery online, you can read about that. And then this has the music, Ethan. 48 years ago today, in 1978, this movie came out. I love it. Now, I was not allowed to see it. I was too young, Fred. My mom said no.
Boy, you had tough parents.
Yeah, you could not see it, and my friend, they could all see it.
Oh,
Sue was not allowed to see it.
Poor little Sue.
And that's just how it was. So I didn't see it till much later. And I don't even know what it was rated. I should probably go back and Did you see it, Fred? I mean,
Had
in
to
your
be PG
Mustang.
back then, right?
I would
mean,
think.
everything was PG back then.
Yeah, and I wasn't 13, so that's what happened.
Yeah, I saw it. I was much older than you, though.
Well, that's okay. Did you take the Mustang?
No, I wasn't that old.
He took his lady. He took his lady to go and see it in the Mustang at the drive-in.
That's right. All right. Okay, here's what I didn't know. Now, of course, this is Frankie Valli singing, right? Guess who wrote this song?
It's a trick question.
It
was
is
John
a trick
Travolta.
question. No, it was not. Barry Gibb. Barry Gibb wrote this song, and Frankie Valli recorded it, and he did the recording just for the opening credits. They knew that's the whole purpose of the song. But I thought that was interesting. Barry Gibb has written a lot of stuff. I love me some Barry Gibb. And if you haven't seen the Bee Gees documentary, it's outstanding. Okay. It is National Fudge Day, Fred. Ethan, yes, fudge?
Yes, but it has to be the right fudge.
Yeah, it can be too sweet.
Joe
I
Beamer,
don't
what's
like it
your
too
go-to?
Peanut butter fudge.
Yeah, see? I like the peanut butter fudge.
Yep.
Yeah? All right.
Yep.
It's and that's it. You know, usually it's something like, people who wear size 6 shoes day and everything, but it's not. It's only National Fudge Day. Ooh, and this brings me to this topic. Okay. Did you see that we had a local person win a James Beard Award last night?
Yes.
This is so great. Her name is Lauren Nalick of Balkan Treat Box and also Telva on the Ridge. Now, this is in Webster. Have you been to either of these? You guys, they're so good.
What kind of food?
It's essentially Balkan food, which is kind of Bosnian, but it's outstanding. And it's already bad. So if you want to go online, I have to order online and pick it up because the place is so busy. Whoa. And this is before she won. It's so good. And now that she won, I don't know if we'll ever get in.
Is it
What
like
are they called again?
Is it a sit-down restaurant?
Yes, you can sit down or take it to go. It's kind of a casual, but like a high-end, wonderful food lunch place.
What's it called?
A Balkan Treat Box.
Oh,
but
now I'm curious.
Oh, Ethan, it's so good. And then there's also something else she opened that was Telva on the Ridge, which is also in Webster, but I haven't been there.
And just to clarify, James Beard Awards, I saw that this is an award for best chefs.
Yeah, this is like the Oscars of the food world. And she won for 2026 Best Chef Midwest.
Wow.
I mean, that is a
That's
huge
no
region.
joke.
Oh, that place is excellent, so you definitely should go. And she and her husband started with a food truck in 2017, and it did so well. And they were over in Bevo, where there were a lot of Bosnians and me. And we liked it and ate it, and then they got a brick and mortar place, but they're covered all the time because their food is so good. Like, I've seen them on Channel 9 specials and stuff. But so congratulations to her. That is outstanding. I just thought that was awesome. All right, the Cleveland Cavaliers auctioned off several chairs that celebrities used during games 3 and 4 in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, well, I guess we're not surprised that Taylor Swift's chair was the most expensive. She was at the game with Travis Kelce. His chair only sold for $1,405. Hers was much more. Kylie Jenner outsold her own boyfriend. Her Game 4 chair went for $1,505, and Timothy Chalamet's just $1,200. It's kind of a funny thing to do. Ben Stiller's Game 4 chair, $732. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah.
And Machine Gun Kelly, who cares? Why would anybody buy his chair?
600.
Yeah, exactly. $635. Couple Hollywood tidbits I didn't get to yesterday. Disclosure Day won the box office over the weekend, $44 million. Michael has dethroned Bohemian Rhapsody as the highest-grossing music biopic. No, it didn't. And there's a biopic in the works about John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival that they're going to start work on. All right, Father's Day is coming up Sunday. Ethan's working his way, watching some Seinfeld. I thought, here's just a quick one from Jerry Seinfeld talking about dad fashion.
Nonetheless, the father remains proud, dressing in bizarre outfits around the house on the weekends. All fathers essentially dress in the clothing style of the last good year of their lives. Whatever a man was wearing around the time he got married, he freezes that moment in fashion history and rides it out to the end. You see fathers on the street, 05, 91, 83.
I just love it. So there you have it. Fred, have you frozen your fashion?
Oh, I think I have. I went through my closet the other day, and I had a lot of old stuff in there.
Fred.
He can't help it. Joyce buys his clothes.
Yeah,
true.
that's a good
So
point.
that's not your fault, Fred. Joe Beaver, have you frozen now that you're a father? Well, it's only been a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, I still wear gym shorts around the house, and I mean, this polo that I'm wearing today is the most dressed up you'll get me. So yeah, nothing's changed.
Okay. Well, you're frozen. Then that's good. My good news story of the day is this. It's just so nice. There were devastating wildfires that burned huge areas of Nebraska ranch land. Thousands of people across the U.S. stepped up to help these farmers recover. Now, there was a story about a couple who had like 11,000 acres, maybe 1,100. That makes more sense. They were all burned. So they lost all their hay. They couldn't feed the cattle. People were shipping them hay from throughout the country on big trucks. And then they'd say, oh, no, it's our neighbors who need it more. You want to take it there. It's just really heartwarming. Finally, in Sue's News, today's random fact, 8.6 million lightning bolts strike Earth every single day.
How about that? There you have it.
Eek!
With your money now. Despite a pullback on chip stocks, the market still saw a record close on Tuesday. The Dow Industrials jumped 328 points, ending the session at 51,999. It did cross above 52,000 briefly. NASDAQ lost 307 points. The S&P 500 fell 42. The peace deal with Iran apparently allows the Middle East nation to be able to immediately sell oil and fuel, according to the Wall Street Journal. And this gives Iran a financial incentive to end the conflict. The report says that sustained financial relief would be determined by things like keeping the Strait of Hormuz open and its nuclear program. More than 24 companies, including JP Morgan Chase and Google, have been contacted by New Mexico investigators to lock down records tied to Jeffrey Epstein and some of his associates. This is part of an investigation into Epstein's former property, Zorro Ranch, in that state. According to the Wall Street Journal, at least 10 women have said they were abused at the ranch. And that's your money now.
The board recommends approving.
Regarding that seat on the committee, we're promoting
to boost quarterly earnings.
Every day, shareholders meet to discuss important matters about the companies you invest in. Now you can easily make your voice heard. Vanguard Investor Choice gives you a say in the companies you invest in. With just a few taps, you can set your proxy voting preference for your index funds. Visit Vanguard.com/investorchoice to learn more. Vanguard investors own shares of our index funds, which own shares of the companies they invest in. Available for Vanguard index funds that participate in Investor Choice. Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Summertime is finally here. It's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Mark Cox here. You know, Zero Res can handle every surface in your home. Carpets, tiles, grout, hardwood, laminate, upholstery, all of it. And right now they're having a flash sale. 3 rooms for $129 plus a 4th room for free. Take advantage of this while you can. Call them up or go to their website. That's ZeroResSTL.com. Tell them you want the 97.1 special.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT guarantee everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Did you know replacing old vinyl windows with more vinyl windows might not be the best choice? Hi, it's Kim, and I'm here to tell you about Infinity from Marvin Windows, because these fiberglass windows, they're energy efficient, they're beautiful, and they're custom built to fit your home perfectly. The team at Lakeside Renovation and Design just makes the process so easy. I love the fact that they even offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Look, if you're tired of drafts, high energy bills, or maybe hard to open windows, now's the time to upgrade. Visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The time is 4:33. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Yes, it's Joe Beamer on. Almost said the wrong call letters. 97.1 FM Talk in for Mark Reardon. And we are joined by Mike Jernigan. Mike, he is a visiting fellow at the Heritage Foundation and a national security specialist. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
So obviously all eyes on this agreement in Iran, and what does it mean? First off, what is your understanding on what exactly is going to be signed this coming Friday?
Yeah, my understanding is that a lot of the details of the agreement have not yet been released. And so, you know, I spent 30 years in the Marine Corps, so as a former American fighting man, any conversation that leads to a temporary or a permanent stop or halt in fighting is good. So I think that the agreement is going to have to hinge on the Iranians are not ever going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. I think that's one thing that's out there that will have to be part of the agreement.
Now, we hear all this money being thrown around, right? Obama's on with Robin Roberts saying it's nothing different, actually worse than the deal that he was criticized for. What is the money that is involved in this deal, if any, and is that American money? What's the specifics?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that have to happen regarding money. Is that in order to do some of the things in an agreement, you know, specific to the lack of nuclear weapons, for example, Iran will probably need some resources to be able to open up some accounts so that they can make some money, so that they can do the things that we expect them to agree to. On the other side is, they're looking at Japan and Germany and having war reparations and the U.S. to help rebuild their economy. And I think they're trying to get some of that. And I don't know if that's very practical because, you know, the winners set the rules. And if Iran hasn't won a war, then I'm not sure that anybody's going to pay them for any damages. The other problem with money that the Iranians are going to have to do is they struck 6 of their neighboring countries and destroyed 9 ports and 2 natural gas fields and 6 refineries. So somebody's going to have to pay for that, too. So I think if the Iranians are going to be asking for money, they need to be careful because I think all their Gulf neighbors are going to be like, hey, you owe us something.
Now, obviously, the entire time during this conflict, we've heard about nuclear weapons and that there's no deal without getting rid of nuclear weapons. So what does that look like? Obviously, we're talking about the stuff to make nuclear weapons. How is the United States going to know that they have destroyed the materials? And what kind of consequences would be in a deal like this if they were to break any part of it?
Yeah, Joe, you make such a good point that any type of deal is going to have some sort of accountability. And I would say international accountability. Iran doesn't allow any foreign journalists in. So I think that let's get some journalists in there to have a career of asking questions and looking at things and then adding up what the totals are. But also there's going to have to be the International Atomic Energy Commission. And I would say people from countries not named Russia and the People's Republic of China who are busily buying and selling things to the Iranians, I think there's going to have to be an international arm to go in and make sure that the Iranians are doing what they say they're doing. Now, technically, we just have to make sure the Iranians don't have the nuclear material and can't get to it. We don't have to take it. We don't have to destroy it. Somebody else can take it. Somebody else can destroy it. But we can also keep it buried under, the mountain, and they cannot get to it. And I'm pretty confident that we know exactly where their nuclear material is that is of sufficient grade to be moved into weapons. And so I think that becomes another a negotiating point, is whether it is destroyed and reduced or whether they just cannot get to it. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out, Joe.
Time and time again, we see these other deals, and it's been my criticisms of past presidents, right? They say they have a deal, they say this is the line, and then the line is crossed, and they keep moving the line back. I mean, with what we've gone through the last few months, and with this deal on the table, would it be crazy to assume that if they were to break one of the agreements, it would be instant military action?
I don't want to step on the president's decision space, but I need to tell you, Joe, that sounds like a great idea to me. Even having been one of those guys whose life would be spent and knowing people that are over there right now, I think the Iranians only respond to pain, and they've been responding to economic pain. And I think this particular deal is coming about because a week ago the president resumed strikes 2 nights, and something got struck that the Iranians didn't like and don't want to get struck again. So I do think that if there is any type of breaking of the deal, there will be some type of consequences, and military action could be on that list.
I was talking with David Bellavia earlier, and he mentioned that part of this deal would also be that any money that Iran gets, it can't go to these terrorist groups. How does America look at that, and how does America know where Iran is spending their money? Is there some type of surveillance to make sure that they're not funding these terrorist groups that could attack our allies or attack us?
Sure. When this war started, there were 5 reasons that the president started why we had this conflict. One was the big one that we're talking about: no nuclear weapons ever for Iran. The second was to be able to degrade their navy. They had 159 ocean-going vessels. Now they have 0. The other was to degrade their air defenses. So their air defenses radars that they bought from the Chinese and the Russians, not working, and 0. The other 4th one was to degrade the mid and short-term ballistic missile capability, which is severely degraded. They still have some missiles, and they still shoot them from time to time. But it's that 5th thing that you're hitting on, is that we needed to make sure, the United States needed to make sure that Iran did not have the means and the ability to fund its proxies, namely Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen. And so this remains a significant deal. To your exact point, is if the Iranians are funding Hezbollah and using that to fight Israel, then that also needs to stop.
We were talking with an earlier guest about, everything that's coming up. We're observing celebrating 250 years of America. We're observing the 25th marking of the 25th anniversary of 9/11. When it comes to national security, it's got to be a heightened security these next few months as we celebrate and we observe those days.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that Americans do well is we're patriotic and we throw great parties. And the other thing that Americans do well, and to your point about reminding about 9/11, is if you mess with us, we're going to smack you in the mouth. So I think exactly there's going to be a lot of security at a lot of events. But that's part of being an American, is that we get to go have a picnic and watch some fireworks and eat some good barbecue and be safe in doing that. And so that's one of the things that makes America great. And 4th of July is my favorite holiday for just that reason of being gone and doing things for the country of America and coming back and seeing the celebration of this experiment called democracy, that our founding fathers have done these 250 years ago. We still have the longest serving constitution in the world, and it is the model for more than 30 constitutions. So yeah, our government is not perfect, and it's designed to be messy, but it's American, and it is great. And I love the 4th of July.
100%. One of my favorite holidays as well. Mike, I hate to jump back and forth, but I had one more Iran question. So they're signing this deal on Friday, but then it opens up 60 more days of talks. What is going to be discussed in that 60 days that's not in this deal?
I think that's going to be all the specifics. To our earlier part of the conversation, there's going to be some accountability in there. Okay, Iran, you said you're going to do this. How do we in the rest of the world make sure that you actually did this? Because, you got 47 years of not really doing what you say you do. So I think that those are going to be in there. And then I think there's also going to be some measures of good faith on the Iranians. Okay, Iranians, you've said that you're going to let the ships through and no longer charge your protection racket fees. So we got to start seeing some ships get through. So I think this 60 days is a period of finding some exact specifics to prove the Iranians' intent to do what they say they're going to do.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for your time. Also, thank you for your service, and we'll talk again.
Hey, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Joe. Have a great afternoon, and get some good St. Louis barbecue for me.
All right. That is Mike Jernigan. He is a visiting fellow at the Heritage Foundation and a national security specialist. Just something to keep an eye on. What happens at the signing and, these specifics of the deal. Again, I am going to trust the president, his administration, but I would also hope, because, again, I have to be fair. I was critical of past presidents. I'm going to be critical. If something in this deal is broken, if a line is drawn and Iran goes over that line, then I think there should be consequences. Iran has known for years they can push America around. I hope that stops with this president, but time will tell. Time will tell. It is Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon. We'll be back after this on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Some volume on southbound 170, especially south of Olive through 64. We've got westbound 70 with moderate volume in pockets 141 out through Wentzville. 64 is lined up approaching Kings Highway through the inner belt. Then it's a little slow at 270 and again past 94. And then one more time approaching Highway N out through the 70 split. Now we've got southbound 270 with slow pockets. And this is Olive down past 44. And then it opens up 55, a little slow at Imperial, Maine. And some volume on the Illinois side coming off the Poplar Street Bridge. And this is in both directions, especially around 3rd Street where we've had some road work. And eastbound 64 slows at 255. This report is brought to you by McKelvey Homes. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Brian Kilmeade. I always have a great time when I visit you guys, and I'm coming back this November. So join me, Brian Kilmeade, by getting tickets for the show at The Factory at 971talk.com/events.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyhomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Man, I love the team at Banner Construction. I've gotten a chance to know them pretty well. Not Bill Kaufman. Bill's one of the owners, Bill Kaufman, but Bill Hyman, who is looking at some deck plans for my home because my deck is falling apart. But let's talk about James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding and pellet replacement windows. Those are two of the products that they really specialize in at Banner Construction. They have for many decades. Those two companies amongst the biggest on the planet when it comes to their products. Pellet just celebrated 100 years in business last year. And if you're looking for jaw-dropping beauty, if you're looking to remove the home maintenance stress, if you just want to make your home look beautiful again and make it the best looking home in the neighborhood, well, that's what Banner is all about, and that's what they've been doing here in St. Louis since 1993. So if you have needs with the James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, beautiful product, go to the website bannerconstruction.com. You can find out more. Pellet replacement windows, same thing, a lot of information on the website, or you can always call 314-569-1050. The website, one more time, bannerconstruction.com. Tell them that I sent you along, and have a banner day.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Mark Reardon, Sue Thomas. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
Yes, we're back. It is Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon here on 97.1 FM Talk. After the break, we're going to talk about J.D. Vance on The View. We've got some clips for you. Looking forward to talking about that. And obviously, also next hour, it's Tech Talk Tuesday. And, would you look at that? AI is on the list of things to talk about. I'll tell you, I am one of those people, there's pros and cons of AI, right? I love the quick question. Like right now, my car radio doesn't turn off when I turn the car off. Even when I open the door, it still stays on for like 30 seconds more. And so, I asked AI, and it said like a list of things it could be. So I guess I'll just wait until it's an actual problem. I mean, it's not killing the battery yet, but you can get the answers there and stuff like that. In the second segment with Alex Del Carmen, I said, it makes me feel old when I have coworkers and 9/11 comes up and they're like, yeah, I wasn't alive yet. You know what else makes me feel old? Over the weekend, it was my nephew's birthday, so we went to a trampoline park. And yes, I paid the extra money for so I could also go on the trampoline. Parents pay $7. They get to go on the trampolines as well. Now, if you looked at me, you can tell I don't do lifting, right? I go to the gym 6 days a week, but there's no lifting. I do 90 minutes of cardio. I run regularly, especially in the summer. But I don't do any lifting. And I know people are going to say, well, Joe, you're getting too old. You gotta start doing some lifting. All right. That's a different conversation for a different day. But at the trampoline park, they had this one part where it's basketball hoops, and it's like that old league, the basketball league with trampolines. And so my son and I were having a ton of fun playing basketball on the trampolines. And, I'm like dunking and hanging on to the hoop and everything. You want to know what made me feel old? The way I felt the next day. Now, again, I do cardio 6 days a week. I regularly run 5 and 10Ks. So, I'm used to like an after run, the day after a few mile run being a little sore. But my gosh, I've got muscles aching that I for sure thought that I regularly work out when I run. But I am feeling the trampoline park 2 days later. There's still a little bit of pain when standing up. I did not expect that. They always tell you, hey, look for it one of these days. It's gonna hurt to stand up or whatever. Or, you're not as young as you used to be. I don't know. Did I not hydrate well before the trampoline park? I am very surprised by the pains in my legs and my back after 3 hours at the trampoline park. But I'll tell you, those are a lot of fun. When I was a kid, we had Discovery Zone, and you crawled in the tunnels, and you went down into the ball pit, or you went down the slide that hurt your butt. But they don't do that anymore. They have a few of the tunnel slides, but Discovery Zone, the whole thing was just a tunnel. You go to the rope course. Yeah, you went in the thing that you jumped across, and I don't know, maybe it was too many germs. We didn't have those thoughts in the 90s like now. My one memory from Discovery Zone of many, but the one that always sticks out is I was crawling I was like 7, 8 years old, crawling in the tube, and there was a kid in front of me, and the kid in front of me throws up. So I cannot continue. Is this too close to dinner time for people? I'm sorry. I cannot continue through the little tunnel that they have for us there. So I have to turn around, and I don't know about you, but the aroma of someone throwing up it's covering. So that was the downfall of Discovery Zone. It was one path, and it was very difficult to turn around and start going another way. But now it seems like these trampoline parks, this is what the kids love these places. They're popping up everywhere. And I'll tell you, it is a ton of fun. But I'm going to have to get a season pass so I can stretch out the muscles that are hurting 2 days later, so I can actually enjoy for me, the one enjoyable thing was the basketball. I don't want to do the trampoline into the pit of styrofoam. The dodgeball trampoline seems fun, but the balls aren't the dodgeball balls that we played with. The basketball is the most fun part. And of course the arcade, the claw machine and all the other arcade games. But that's the difference. It was Discovery Zone in the 90s, trampoline parks in 2026. But, as long as it's getting, as I say, how much I liked the arcade, as long as it's getting kids away from the screen, right? It's summertime. You walk outside. It's a beautiful day. It's 5 p.m. Why? There's no one playing in the front yard. No one playing in their backyard. Everyone's in front of the freaking screen. Or if you do see someone outside, they're outside, and what they're doing, they're looking at their screen. When I was a kid, I had a Sega Genesis. We played the Sega Genesis in the winter and when it was raining outside. You would never throw away a beautiful summer day where you could be riding your bike through town or going, see what your friend's up to. Now it's like screen first, and then maybe we'll spend a few hours or a few minutes outside. I don't know, but if the trampoline park's getting kids away from the screens, hey, I'm all for it. Like I said, when we come back, we're talking J.D. Vance on The View. I thought it was masterclass. I thought J.D. Vance did great. Obviously the debate in the Republican Party is going to be, is it J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio? I like both of them. I think, they both have their qualities. I just think J.D. Vance, he's Trump, but he's he can stay calm, and he explains things, and he'll actually tell you what to do without telling you what to do, if you know what I mean. He's a great speaker, and I don't know, it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, you got to see what happens in the midterms. You got to see what happens in the next 2 years. Maybe he doesn't even want to run. But if Democrats are putting up Gavin Newsom, I think Republicans will have an easier time in 28, even though polls now say that the favorite is Kamala Harris. My gosh, could you imagine the Democrats making that mistake again? Might not be a bad thing. I'm just saying. I'd love to talk to these primary voters that say Kamala. Let's put Kamala Harris on the ballot again. Jeez. We'll be back after this on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, traffic-wise, we even have a little bit of volume through North County. Nothing too terrible. But eastbound 270, east of 367, through the bridges, a little bit slow. And northbound 170, slowing, headed for 270, just moderate volume. 70 westbound, slowing around 141, Highway K, and in pockets out through Wentzville. 6440 is heavier, and it lines up approaching Kings Highway. This goes out past McCausland. And 64 westbound, there's an accident reported past Vandeventer that is causing a delay as well. And then it slows again at 270. Even eastbound is slow between 270 and Big Bend. And then out west, it's slow near Clarkson, and again at 94, and then Highway N out through the 70 split. Southbound 270, slow pockets, Page down past 44. 55 looks good, but watch for a jam on the Illinois side. Eastbound 64 at 255. This report brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. And you can just call them for their 26-point tune-up, and they'll come out, and for one price, Look for 3 garage door openers and garage doors. Check them over and do an entire tune-up on them. Schedule online, overhead door, stlewis.com. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Brian Kilmeade. You know, I always have a great time when I visit you guys, and I'm coming back this November. So join me, Brian Kilmeade, by getting tickets for the show at The Factory at 971talk.com/events.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Details are coming. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's what Vice President J.D. Vance says as he prepares to sign an agreement with Iran. He tells Fox's The Five the agreement is simple.
1, Iran can have a nuclear weapon. 2, the Straits of Hormuz are open. And number 3, there are all of these benefits contemplated that the Iranians can get if they behave.
On the question of whether Iran will profit from the agreement, the vice president said again, if Iranians change how they interact with the world, they will benefit economically. And if they don't get anything. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer again calling for details of the deal to be made public.
After more than 100 days of bloodshed, 13 Americans killed, hundreds more wounded, tens of billions of dollars spent. What exactly did we get out of Trump's failed war?
At the G7 in France, President Trump said he is willing to open the details of the agreement to Congress. The FBI says a concerned mother in Ohio helped disrupt a plot to attack last weekend's White House UFC fight. At least 5 people under arrest.
Those involved in the alleged plot were arrested in Ohio, Nebraska, Missouri, and California. In Ohio, investigators say 19-year-old Tyson Proper's mother called police after she was concerned about her son's recent conduct, including firearms purchases and his communications with people online. According to authorities, when she asked him what he was doing, he said he couldn't tell her exactly, but that they were looking at multiple different locations and intended to conduct recon as well as hit-and-run missions.
Fox's David Spunt in Washington. Court filings say Thursday, investigators learned from prompter of a group chat on the app Signal where they were sharing information. Wall Street, the Dow gained 328, reaching another record. The Nasdaq minus 307, the S&P off 42. Oil dipped below $80 a barrel. America is listening to Fox News.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately. Broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
I thought those were good for me.
What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements.
Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our weather's quiet this evening and overnight. Partly cloudy skies. Our temperature's a touch warmer as expected. The southerly flow is back. 63 for the low. Wednesday, partly sunny. Warm and humid, but nothing more than a spot thunderstorm. 93 degrees. The big deal Wednesday, strong gusty winds during the afternoon, not associated with thunderstorms. Some wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Surprised at how tall you are. It's very tall.
Well, if you only see somebody on TV, you just see their, in my case, giant head. So it hides how tall I am. That's right.
We are the table of big heads here.
So this is a show of MAGA Republicans, right? That's what my media team told me? Okay, good.
Well, we'll find out.
Yes, that was J.D. Vance on The View today. It's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon. Welcome back. And we are joined by Nick Fondacaro. He is Newsbusters Associate Editor at the Media Research Center. Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Joe.
Nick, I thought J.D. Vance did a great job. I thought it was actually refreshing to see a conservative on The View. As long as ABC is going to put that under their news division, it is nice to see a differing opinion.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job. He basically went in there into the Viper's pit and just was a happy warrior about it. No matter what slings and arrows that were tossing his way, he was able to let it roll off his back, went in there with a smile, a good attitude, diffused a lot of their nasty comments. Meanwhile, they're over here just looking completely unhinged, interrupting each other, snapping at each other, yelling and screaming to get each other to shut up so they can move on and ask questions and go to commercial. Yeah, he let everything roll off his back. It was a good thing for him to go there because, as you were saying, the View doesn't often have a lot of conservatives on the show. And I authored a study here at Newsbusters looking at what their guests were last year, and they had 128 liberal guests to 2 conservative guests, or guests that were able to share those types of opinions. And this year so far, J.D. Vance is only the 3rd conservative that they've had on.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's a trending issue with these liberal shows. You have The View, you have Jimmy Kimmel, you have Colbert, who's no longer there. I mean, when Fallon had Greg Gutfeld on, they had to try everything not to bring up anything political in his interview.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is like what you were saying earlier. It's about whether or not this is a news show, right? And comparing it to a lot of the comedy shows, this is not they're not in the same league here. So basically you have ABC claiming that this is a news program. They're right now they are before the FCC trying to make sure the FCC continues to view them as a quote unquote bona fide news program when we know they're absolutely not. And this really isn't going to help them too much in that, because the comments and stuff that they say otherwise outside of this interview sort of hurt their arguments there, especially when they repeatedly so far this year have made overt receptions to their audience and overt requests that they vote Democrat in the election. So basically what we're seeing is them sort of shooting themselves in the foot with the claims that this is a bona fide news program when obviously they're more entertainment, even though ABC considers them a news property.
Yeah, I thought JD Vance went there, and as you said, I mean, they kept yelling these unfounded claims that have been repeated so many times in the media, and it was just I thought masterclass to see him one by one. And JD Vance, hey, nothing against President Trump, but JD Vance can just be so calm, and you see it when he's with Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation. He gives these calm answers. He's very detailed in his answers, and I mean. You see that, and you might wonder if The View ever asks any conservatives back after that.
Yeah, well, you actually have a good point there, because what we've seen up until this point, and they've been fairly open about not wanting to have conservatives on the show, because you've seen them on their podcast, their Behind the Table podcast. They've talked about how conservatives don't meet their quote unquote certain caliber of guests that they like to have on the show. And they even though they'll talk about certain conservatives, like conservative influencers, they will never invite them on, even when that person is asking to come on to defend themselves or to have a full conversation. We saw it earlier this year with Isabel Brown, where they attacked her for her comments at CPAC, where she was saying, hey, I'm a new mom. Maybe young women these days should think about getting married and having kids. And they absolutely attacked her on the show. And even when Isabel reached out to them, they lied to her and say, oh, we're booked completely through. Meanwhile, they had open days on their calendar. So they definitely refuse to want to have conservatives on. And also on their podcast, they've said, hey, we don't want to have anybody on that's going to create a quote unquote moment, like a viral moment that they don't like, anything that they can't control. And those types of moments are those embarrassing moments where they're getting schooled or somebody's pushing back and calling out their hypocrisy, or in this instance, even having them just embarrass themselves. And honestly, with the fact that it's J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, they really had no choice but to accept the offer, because J.D. Vance can just turn around and tell everybody, hey, I asked to come on, offered to come on, and they refused. So it was really, they kind of had to accept his invite, and ultimately they did embarrass themselves.
It is so interesting, Nick, to look at the history of The View. Now, I know two guys talking about The View. That's but you go back to the clip when Norm Macdonald was on, way back when Bush was running the first time in 2000, and he mentioned that he was, he liked George Bush, and I'm not sure if Norm was an American citizen at the time. He is Canadian, but talking about how he liked George Bush, and that got a roaring ovation from the View crowd. I'll tell you, I was shocked that anyone was clapping when J.D. Vance went out there, because usually it seems like just a crowd of TDS members.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing, there was some clapping, and then a lot of them didn't want to clap. And this is the audience that they've cultivated over these last 10 years, where it's just a lot of bitter people. So part of my coverage of The View involves, like I said, watching their podcast, and they put that up on YouTube, and I go and I scroll through the comment section while I'm listening, and a lot of times it is just very nasty comments. And this is like the audience that they cultivate, and they like that these are their viewers, especially like when earlier this year they had some fill-in guests or fill-in hosts. When Alyssa Farrah Griffin, one of their purported conservatives on the panel, when she was out on maternity leave, they were bringing conservatives in like Elizabeth Hasselbeck and basically an actual conservative. And you can see like all the nasty comments that their audience had against her and about her in here. And you could see that people were turning off their show, turning off the YouTube, and you can just see the dip in the numbers there.
And Elizabeth was a former View host, like back when they had, like as you said, real conservatives. It is amazing that Farrah, I'm forgetting your last name, that she can be on The View and on CNN, and they use her as the conservative on those panels, but everything she says is anti-Trump. It's just so interesting to me how it has changed from, hey, this is about everyone's view, to Now it's about the TDS view. Um, Nick, I got to ask you about the reaction in the media to the UFC match. Now, this didn't just start on Sunday. It was weeks of just outrage over a UFC event on our favorites like ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and the newly named MS Now.
Mm-hmm. Just to circle back to the viewer fest, that'd be Alyssa Farah Griffin, who's both on ABC and CNN. But yeah, like what we were seeing ahead of this UFC fight is a lot of even the Weather Channel got in on the hate, where they were sort of predicting that it was all going to get rained out. It was going to be thunderstorms. There's going to be this almost like this horrible event, and that like all the people attending were going to get hurt by the weather. But yeah, and you've seen a lot of people like on MS Now basically saying. Or suggesting that like this is like this barbaric thing, a disgrace to the White House, or even on The View where they were suggesting that this isn't what America's about. Like somehow combat sports isn't in America's history. Meanwhile, you had Teddy Roosevelt that was hosting boxing matches like at the White House. Boxing is still fairly popular. UFC is obviously more popular in some respects, and it's just the idea that hey, combat sports are about America. Like the warrior culture is ingrained in America, right? Like we're celebrating 250 years, and I think it's like 18 years we haven't been in some form of conflict or war. Like we do combat better than any country in the history of mankind.
Absolutely. I couldn't believe it. I mean, obviously it's predictable from some of the mainstream, but I mean, even now, again, I realize they're owned by the New York Times, but I mean, even in The Athletic, you have these sports reporters that were talking about how awful it is. Like you're supposed to be covering sports. Why are you dabbling into politics in the middle of your sports article?
Yeah, and this is some of the stuff we saw in the during ESPN sort of shifting into that little liberal enclave that they sort of become, and obviously they gotten rid of some of them, but at the same time it's like people watch sports to not have to deal with politics, right? It's part of like the escapism of trying to turn off some of the negative things in the world. And I have friends who don't pay attention to the news because it's like I don't blame them. Like I watch it 24/7, and hey, maybe mental health isn't like really good right now, but basically, like I understand why people don't want to watch this stuff and how this is going to. Yeah, you I think you get it, but basically it's like people don't want the media in affecting their sports. They don't want politics there, and for a sports outlet to sort of now give their own opinion or editorialize the event here, when you basically should just be saying, hey, this is happening. There's some people for it, some people against it, but here's the card.
This, as you said, ESPN it's in my opinion, it's what ruined SportsCenter when they started getting into their politics. I would watch SportsCenter every night at 11 for the longest time. But now I'll just find my own clips because I don't need to know the politics. I don't need like a Trump bash in the middle of Mets highlights. Believe me, I'm already depressed watching Mets highlights. But we really saw this during COVID when it comes to sports. And, people, I remember I was at the first Virginia Tech game back with fans in 21, and you had The Athletic and ESPN saying, oh my gosh, these people so close together. And I mean, for some of those reporters, it just turned into, I'm going to give you my politics with a side of sports. And as you said, we watch sports to get away from this stuff. And you've got people on the left that think, no, you need this in your face 24/7, 365.
Oh yeah, and there were some YouTube channels that I used to watch for to get my good laugh, and then they started dipping into politics. And it's like, hey, I understand you got a First Amendment right. Maybe keep it to your X account or your social media account, because what I go to for your content for is to laugh, do your reactions, maybe let's play, watch you play some funny video games, and sort of joke and clown on each other. But at the same time, it's like I don't need to hear politics, especially and I'm not even like the average viewer. The average viewer doesn't watch politics, isn't involved in politics, but someone like me who is involved in politics, I cover politics and I watch it and I'm inundated with it. I don't want to hear it when I'm trying to get my entertainment. It's like back when I was in college and I was a poli-sci major. I'd be at a party and somebody's like, "Oh, you're a poli-sci major? Let me talk to you about politics." And I'm like, "I'm at a party here. I don't want to talk about my major."
100. I mean, it's why Colbert ruined the Late Show. I was the biggest Letterman fan, and I'm sure I know Letterman and I didn't agree politically, but he didn't make his show about politics. He would rip on Obama the same he ripped on Bush, the same he ripped on. I mean, he was funny. It was a comedy show. And I mean, it just seems so many liberals now, it's politics has to be their identity, and you have to know about it. And they're going to use their platform, whatever it is. And I mean, they're going to sink, like the legendary Late Show. They're going to sink these platforms because, again, they believe that no matter what it is, Nick, you don't have the right to laugh until you hear about why Trump is awful.
Oh, exactly. And that's why we're seeing them sort of die. It's because people are going to the YouTube channels that are staying away from politics. They have this smattering of different entertainment options. And I think it was Johnny Carson, or it might have been Jay Leno, who basically said it's like you have the duty to make sure the America goes to bed happy. Give them a laugh before they go to sleep, instead of making them go to bed angry at the world, angry at politics, or continuing to think that the country is at the precipice of collapsing. And that's why a lot of people are turning it off, because they don't want the negativity. The comedy show has become basically a news show, or at least a liberal sort of talk center, where you're getting all these negative opinions before you're going to bed. And people are like, no wonder why happiness is down, right? Because people are just generally they're getting bombarded with all this negative stuff all over the place.
That's why, you know what? If there's nothing good on TV, I go to the classics: Seinfeld, Frasier, Columbo, or 2.5 Men. That's what I'm watching. I'm watching one of those because at least I know I'm getting a laugh before I go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Nick, great talking with you. Look forward to talking with you again, man.
Yeah, man. Had a great time.
Thank you. That is Nick Fondacaro. He is Newsbusters Associate Editor at the Media Research Center. Great talking with him. And yeah, I mean, I am a huge sports fan. It's funny, as Nick said, he works politics. He doesn't want to talk politics when he's not at work. When I came here in 2009, I know when I came to what then was called Intercom, now it's Odyssey. In 2009, I was just a weekend board op for recorded shows, and my goal was to get down the hall to the sports station WGR. I think today, I'm happy that I'm not down the hall at WGR. Those guys do great jobs. I love listening to sports radio, but I don't know if I would want sports to be my job. You know what I mean? Watching the Mets game last night was painful enough. If I then had to turn around and talk about it, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure I want that to be my job. That's my passion. Not that I'm not passionate about politics, but when I'm not here, when I'm not at work, unless I'm at some event for politics, like I'm at a rally or something, I really don't want to be bombarded with political talk, especially at a party. I think Nick is 100% correct on that, and I don't want it in my sports coverage. I don't want the 2-1, it's low, ball 3. Oh, by the way, did you see Trump? I don't want that. Get that out of sports. Let sports be the getaway that we all deserve after every day. It's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon. We're back after this.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound 6440 approaching Boyle. They've got the 2 right lanes blocked, and we do have a jam behind it. In fact, eastbound drivers are slowing for a look in that area. Eastbound traffic on 64 also slow from Lindbergh through Big Bend. Westbound is pretty much backed up by that accident, so it doesn't get bad. It's just a little slow at 170. And then southbound 170 is slow from Olive through 64. Southbound 270, slow pockets from Page down through Gravois, and we've got volume southbound 141 headed for 44. Out west, 70 a little slow in both directions at 141, and at Highway A it's slow westbound. Just moderate volume here and there for 40 drivers. On the Illinois side, we're busy on 55-64 between Route 3 and the 70 split, and then 64 eastbound slowing at 255 before it opens up. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I don't know why you would turn any place else other than Michael's Flooring Outlet here in St. Louis for your flooring needs, because Mike Reynolds has an amazing team with a ton of experience that he's put together at 3 different locations, and they can help you. And I know this for a fact because I did a project with them a year and a half ago. It was super easy. The carpeting I ripped out myself just to save a little money. You know, they'll give you those options as well. And then when the team came in, and I think it was just one dude, he comes in, puts some flooring in. It looks beautiful. I have never, ever regretted that. And we did it on a budget, so you can do that as well. If you're looking for expertise, maybe get started by going into one of the 3 locations because they're awesome in Old Town St. Peter's, Darden Prairie, and in West County on Olive. But the website really is a great starting point. You can do some searches for products, read some reviews, get some inspiration, look at all the galleries. It's great. It can take a lot of work. They're going to help you, though, make your home look beautiful with new flooring. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
The Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale are coming to the Family Arena for one magical night of country and Christmas, December 17th. It's the Gatlin Brothers Farewell Tour, and Crystal Gale is joining them to celebrate an evening of country's greatest hits and beautiful Christmas music. Don't miss the Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale. Tickets are available at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
One of rock's legendary voices, the original voice of Foreigner, Lou Gramm, The Release Tour. Saturday, October 10th, the Family Arena with special guest John Waite. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena and Ticketmaster. Don't miss the original voice of Foreigner. Lou Gramm in concert. New album released coming March 27th.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
It's Mark Cox. Zero Res wants to help you clean your home. Big summer savings this week only. Get 3 rooms cleaned for $129. Get the 4th room for free. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the 97.1 special.
Is your driveway cracked or your sidewalk sinking? Buckeye Concrete can fix it. From concrete lifting and leveling to full replacement, they bring over 25 years of experience to every project. Quality concrete work that lasts. Get your free estimate today at BuckeyeConcreteInc.com.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon here on 97.1 FM Talk. So that spot that just played for Lou Gramm with John Waite. Oh my, I'd love to go to that show. You know, a few years ago, Foreigner, or you know, the band pretending to be Foreigner, was touring around. I'm sorry, I cannot stand when bands will go around, you know, hey, this is like Journey, okay? Steve Perry is still alive. He's still with us. He's no longer. You're not Journey. Like Journey just had a farewell tour, and they made a stop here in Buffalo. And you want me to pay Steve Perry prices to see fake Journey? A few years ago, they were touring with Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard, and Journey went first, and like 5,000 people walked out of the arena. Like, why? You got real Def Leppard coming up next. He came just for fake Journey. Same with Foreigner. You know, Foreigner's been touring around without Lou Gramm for years. I'd much rather go see, and it was so funny, last year, Foreigner was performing the day before Lou Gramm. So Lou Gramm was performing down the street at a casino, and Foreigner was at the local county fair. And I was like, Lou Gramm is half the price of fake Foreigner. I'd much rather go see him. That lineup for the concert that we just advertised, that sounds amazing. Lou Gramm with John Waite, Missing You, one of the top 5 best songs to come out of the 80s.
Well, I will say, in defense of, Journey, they still have Neil Schon, and at least there are original Journey members left. And if he's not going to sing, so you got to find somebody. I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, and you're right. Of course, Steve Perry is still with us, but he chooses not to. If I'm a founding member, I'm like, well, so I'm done.
Yeah. But like the Beach Boys, what's his name? Brian. Oh my gosh.
Brian Wilson.
Brian Wilson. He toured around as Brian Wilson because they didn't let him keep the name the Beach Boys. Yeah. I'm probably being overly critical, but like Queen gets a pass, right? Freddie Mercury's no longer with us.
Right.
You want to tour with Adam Lambert, that's fine. Like Journey, I don't know. I think there should be some kind of at least notation that it's not Steve Perry and you're still paying what I would imagine you would pay for original Journey. But I'm glad you said that, Sue, because do you know who's touring without one original member?
I
this
won't
summer?
be surprised. Who?
The Spinners. Not one.
Gosh, I love the Spinners.
But how do you still call yourself the Spinners? Like, I get it. Hey,
if there's not one person, you're right.
Time is a cruel thing, and we're all going to be gone one day, And hey, the Spinners were great. You could tour as the music of the Spinners from some guys that used to tour with the original Spinners. But I mean, they're selling tickets to the Spinners this summer for Spinners prices. And I don't know. To me, like that's like that spot for Lou Gramm, perfect. He's not going around saying he's Foreigner. He was the lead singer of Foreigner, and he's going to be there with John Waite. And I'm telling you that they are going to bring the roof down. That if there's even a roof, they're going to bring the roof down that night. That's going to be an awesome show.
I had to Google it to see if because I love Lou Gramm. I just said, can Lou Gramm still sing? And the AI told me, yes, though his vocal stamina and style have changed due to aging and past health issues. While his voice requires careful pacing, he continues to perform live. But because who can't sing? Who am
Frankie
I thinking
Valli.
of? Well, yeah, but
he was lip-syncing.
Van Halen,
David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth cannot sing.
No, I saw him open for Kiss a month before the world shut down for COVID, and Kiss was great.
Yes.
And the argument could be made. Well, Joe, you still called them Kiss. I get what you're saying. I mean, my argument is not foolproof. Because you could make the argument they shouldn't have been touring around as Kiss. They didn't have two of the, Beth was not even sang by Ace. You know what I mean? Like, so I get it. But that's something that always bothers me. Time will come, and you just can't tour anymore. But that sounds like a great show. I would go. I wish that was. Lou Gramm lives right down the street. He lives right down the 90 in Rochester.
Oh, really?
I would hope that he's going to bring that show to Western New York before he finally says. But how many farewell tours can someone have? You ever notice everyone has a farewell tour? Kiss had like 10.
Yes, yes.
But at 76, this probably will be time for Lou Gramm, and hey, Foreigner has some great music. I'm not going to lie.
Yep, it's true.
But yeah, that's just something that always bothers me. And maybe I'm overreacting, and there's no rhyme or reason to my thinking. But that just I don't get it. You're going to pay that price to see someone who's not even anyway.
I thought that way until I realized after several years that Steve Perry has no interest in returning,
which is sad.
Yeah. So, and this guy is supposed to be, he's a little imitator, but apparently he does it well and has for years. So, okay, we all know what it's going to be.
Do you think if they told Steve Perry, hey, if you tour with us, you could sing Oh Sherry, he would come back?
Nope. Have you seen an interview with Steve? Steve's done.
Is he?
Yeah.
No.
It's a shame.
It is. It's a shame. I never got to see, well, we can do that list another time. When we come back, it's Tech Talk Tuesday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There was an accident on westbound 6440 approaching Boyle. Watch for that one on the right-hand side. We've got plenty of volume southbound 170, Olive through 64. Southbound 270 from Page down in pockets through Gravois. 70 westbound fine out of downtown. A little bit slow at the Blanchette Bridge, K and Wentzville. And we've got volume eastbound 40 east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. We've got some volume on the Illinois side. The heaviest is eastbound 64 right at 255. This report is brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they have been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. Windows, siding, kitchens, baths, outdoor spaces, quality craftsmanship with lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm Bill Hemmer, and these are the most impactful moments in American history. October 14th, 1947, from a Boeing B-29 bomber, U.S. Air Force pilot Chuck Yeager descended into the Bell X-1, a sleek orange plane which he dubbed the glamorous Glennis. At 20,000 feet, the X-1 launched from the B-29 and soared 30,000, 40,000, 42,000 feet into the sky. Yeager accelerated faster until Chuck Yeager reached Mach 1.06 and broke the sound barrier. It was a flight many believed to be impossible, but Chuck Yeager's historic achievement helped Americans reach new heights and test new limits.
America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk, sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Man, we had a great visit last week from Matt Lawrence of Game Day Men's Health. Game Day is a great sponsor. Matt has 2 locations out in Chesterfield and also in O'Fallon, Missouri. He's very passionate. I love him. When I first got to know him a couple of years ago, he just brings this passion. And for those of you who heard the interview last week, you know how he loves what he's doing. He's an entrepreneur, but this is a health clinic, Game Day Men's Health, that's really grown across North America and Canada, 400 plus clinics. They have all kinds of options for you. Testosterone therapy, of course, maybe you're familiar with that. Do you need some testosterone as you get older? They're going to do some blood work for you, and it's a free 1-hour visit. They do blood work. Within 20 minutes, you get that blood work back. They give you advice. Now, maybe it's not on TRT. We talked a lot last week about peptides and vitamins because that's something that's blown up, but Matt really kind of informed us too. A lot of misinformation out there about that. So go to the experts, make an appointment either in Chesterfield or in O'Fallon. Game Day Men's Health. Book an appointment today. Tell them that I sent you in. GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Annie, and I'm here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. Stewie, if there's one thing I know, it's that people are looking for cash right now. And the mortgage being the biggest bill that most people have, is it the right time to refinance or even just restructure their current mortgage?
You know what, Annie? My wife came over to me yesterday and said, you know what, honey? I love you, and your love gives me thrills, but unfortunately, it don't pay my bills. So here's what we're going to do. Do the bagel loan. If you financed your house over the last 3 years, rates are lower today than they've been over that period of time. Call me. We can refinance, save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month. Now, many people out there think they have a low rate, but maybe you're paying the PMI or maybe you have an FHA loan. You have to look at the total picture, and that's the mistake people make. They say, hey, I'm in a great position. I can't do better. Wrong. 9 out of 10 people that call us with the same conversation, hey, I'm just calling you just to see, we end up refinancing them and saving them lots of money.
Call Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, and remember the bagel loan, no closing costs. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
When it comes to hiring a contractor, you need somebody you can trust. It's Mark Cox, and I want to tell you about my friend Curtis Carell of the Carell Roofing Company. Curtis fixed my roof. It was after a major hailstorm. He came the same day, got up, inspected it, and from start to finish, from having the adjuster out, pointing out what he thought was wrong, all the way until it was done, it was a fantastic experience. And that's not just my experience. I have coworkers here at the radio station who've also used Carell Roofing Company, and a lot of my listeners have taken my advice, and I thank you for that. Curtis goes the extra mile. He just sent his crews out to Kansas City. They got additional training on working with insurance adjusters, making them more likely to get approval on your case. If you've been denied, call Carell Roofing Company and get Curtis on the case. He's going to do a good job for you. More than 20 years of experience in the roofing industry, and you can take that to the bank. Call him at 314-222-9529 or CarellRoofingCo.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The
time is 5:36. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
From Ellisville to Glen Carbon, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It is Joe Beamer in for Mark Reardon, and it is Tuesday, which means it's time for Tech Talk Tuesday.
Tech Talk Tuesday with George Rosenthal of ThrottleNet, throttlenet.com.
Well, George, good afternoon. Welcome back.
Good. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Great to be on with you.
First thing we're talking about, shock, AI. Here we go again. Anthropic files for a historic $965 billion IPO. And that is before the arrival of OpenAI. What's the significance of that, George?
Oh, man, this is going to be big. And you know what's wild about this is it was kind of done under closed doors because obviously OpenAI is coming up. And you just had the big SpaceX, and they're going to probably roll Grok into that as well. This is definitely it's turning out to be the year of giant IPOs. And this one is just under $1 trillion. I mean, it is massive, and no one expected it to be this soon. They thought OpenAI was going to be the first one to go IPO, and then, of course, Anthropic. But Anthropic is just exploding in size. I mean, to give you some perspective, in the last 6 months, okay, they went from $9 billion in revenue to $44 billion in revenue in 6 months. So it is absolutely just a massive explosion with this is who runs Claude, of course. Now, Anthropic was also the only one that was approved by the military, the Department of War, to be used. And Anthropic was okay with it. They were really excited. They were going to get all this new revenue. But then they realized that the military could have used their product for weaponization and mass surveillance. So they said, well, you're not allowed to use our product for that. So the Department of War banned them. So we're going to see how this IPO shapes out, because right now Fable 5 is going to be out for the public. That's a version of their AI systems is Fable 5, so keep an eye out for that. But Mythos is the big thing that is scaring everybody because it's so powerful. Again, it was so powerful that the War Department thought it would be useful. So we'll see. I mean, by October, September, October, you're going to have two major IPOs in OpenAI, ChatGPT, and then, of course, on the other side, Anthropic. So I am just fascinated to see how this all goes. And the old days of talking about billions of dollars in worth of companies is starting to be over. Now it's how many trillions are you going to start off with when you go public?
Speaking of the valuation and the money these companies bring in, how many humans does AI power AI? Like, how many humans go into powering an AI platform?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. So it's not as many as you think. And we talked about this several times on Tech Talk Tuesday in the past, are these data centers. But the data center, it takes a lot of people to build them. Some of these data centers right now in Texas that are being built are 4 million square feet big. So 4 million square feet is just gigantic, but it takes 15 people to run a 4 million square foot center. So it takes a lot to build them, but that's about it. The big problem with the AI data center, and that is going to be water. Of course, microchips are a big deal. Electricity is a big deal, but water is now becoming the biggest Achilles heel, and this is something Elon Musk even brought up. And on Tech Talk Tuesday, we've talked about how badly you need electricity, of course. But what's fascinating is now there's a new stat out that for every handful of prompts that you give AI and every handful of pictures or video that you have AI generate, it costs basically a bottle of water, the size of a regular bottle of water, to cool off AI's servers. So what's really, really crazy to even wrap your head around is last year, a single Google data center in Texas, generated all of this computing power for Gemini, but they used 1 billion gallons of water in 1 year. Wow. So who is going to control the water is what this comes down to. So now, obviously, it's a constant stream of fresh water, but you can go to a closed loop air conditioning system, but it's going to cost a fortune to not only build and maintain those systems, but now you've got to have even more electricity to do the closed system air conditioning system versus constantly pumping fresh water through basically through cooling tubes to keep everything cool. So that's, I mean, obviously the cat's out of the bag, the genie's out of the bottle. We're going to have to deal with this because it's not going to slow down. So, and again, and this is another statistic that's pretty wild, is 70% of the people that have been asked if they want a data center have said no. So now it's a matter of finding where you can put them that not only has enough electricity, but where are you coming up with 1 billion gallons of fresh water in order to cool this stuff down? It's something else. I still can't believe we're having these conversations, and we've been talking about this for years, and it just keeps getting stranger and stranger, talking about needing 1 billion gallons of fresh water to cool down an AI server. It's amazing.
It's so funny that this was one of the topics for today, because on my Buffalo show, we've been talking about data centers for a long time because they were proposing one in one of the suburbs. And then New York last week put a moratorium, a 1-year moratorium on data centers. And, George, this was my thinking. Now, I don't know, obviously, I don't know as much as you know about this, but my point was, the water and the electricity, but if we're going to use AI, if we're going to use the things that are housed in these data centers, they're going to have to exist somewhere.
Yeah. Yes. It doesn't just come out of nothing. You're exactly right. So, and here it is. We all have to ask ourselves a question. Somewhere in the planet, being China, of course, Russia is going to be, close behind. The question is, do we want to lose the AI race? And what does that mean to our society? Well, it means that their society will grow and become more sophisticated at quantum levels faster than we will, meaning everything, and not just military. I'm talking about quality of life, the ability to cure diseases, to make sure to make people live instead of 80, 90, 100 years, to live to 150 to 160. These are numbers that are not off. I mean, they're talking about right now a new drug that's coming out of the FDA that you can inject into your eye that will regenerate your sight to the point where you don't need reading glasses just because you're older. So, and this is all coming about because of AI. And the race to win the AI game it's huge, massively impactful to everyone's lives. And whoever's left behind will be left behind forever. And here's why. When artificial general intelligence takes over, it will be smarter than any person that's ever lived, and therefore will accelerate past even AI that is lesser than itself. So the AI of today will be outsmarted by the AI of tomorrow when we hit general intelligence. And the first country or general population to hit that will never be caught again as far as advancements, everything from basic traffic and how you organize a city, all the way through to medical and of course, military action and protection. But we have to win the race. And so if we're going to do that, we have to figure out where we're going to put these data centers, how we're going to generate the electricity. Wind and solar is not going to do it. We're going to need nuclear. We're going to need water, meaning hydroelectric. We're going to need to figure out this whole fresh water issue with cooling, because you can't have closed AC systems, because then you need even 2 or 3 times more of the electricity. So it's a problem that has to be solved, but it's got to be solved quickly. This is all happening so fast. And they're talking about reaching artificial general intelligence in less than 3 years. So this is the time now to pour in the investment and build the systems to keep us ahead of the game.
George, as we talk about data centers and as that discussion ramps up and the discussion of the money being put into these things ramps up, I do think we're going to get closer to more lawsuits coming out against AI, and we're seeing that in Florida as they launch a lawsuit against Sam Altman.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So, I was always complaining about how government is behind. Government's not making regulations and laws fast enough, and I don't think they will be able to. I think it's happening way too fast. So here's what's coming out of the woodwork is lawsuits. And Florida being the first state to actually sue a company, they're suing OpenAI for all kinds of negligence that they say their AI has caused teen suicides. It's caused all kinds of problems with people in general falling in love with romantic partner known as AI. It's causing all kinds of issues that aren't regulated by a law, by Congress or what have you. And I don't think they're going to catch up. So it's going to end up policing itself through lawsuits. And Florida's making an example of this right now. And if they win this lawsuit, and it's against ChatGPT, and it's specifically naming out the C-levels, the CEOs, Sam Altman, of course, meaning that they're going to make the chief executive team liable for anything that their AI causes. So if their AI causes teen suicides, if it causes a serious breach in the water supply or shuts down XYZ within a certain state, they're going to hold the executive team personally liable and financially responsible. So if Florida does win, the precedent will be set big time to where I'm not even worried about the laws anymore being created, because these companies are going to have to self-regulate, or they're going to go out of business, be put in jail, whatever it may be. And I think once that's out there, it's going to be a major help. Look, I love AI. I'm a huge tech nerd. I get it, but AI is extremely dangerous if it's left unchecked. It has to be checked. There has to be guidelines. There has to be regulations. And I am not a big regulations guy, but on AI, let me tell you, it has to be in place. And if lawsuits are going to be the way to do it, then so be it. Something's got to be there as a safety mechanism to make sure this doesn't get out of hand. Because right now it is getting out of hand, and nobody's dealing with it from a legislation standpoint. At least not fast enough in my eyes.
It's getting out of hand, and I mean the potential AI has to get even more out of hand. I mean, the sky's the limit, right? If there's not any checks put in place.
Yeah, and then you're going to throw this AI into a robot. Okay, that's coming in the next 2 to 5 years, and that's in the way of Optimus, Tesla's new robot. So if you don't have AI in check on a software level, then you throw that into a robot. Now you've got all kinds of other issues you have to deal with. And I mean, I feel like I'm talking about a movie, but we're living it. It's crazy. But this is really happening every single day, and people got to wake up to what's going on.
Scary stuff. I mean, awesome stuff, but scary stuff at the same time. George, always great talking with you. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the week.
That is George Rosenthal with ThrottleNet. We'll wrap it up after this on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, as you probably know, 44 is closed in both directions between the Poplar Street Bridge and the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge, and it's causing a jam on northbound 55, which is also eastbound 44, headed for the Poplar. There was an accident westbound 6440 approaching Boyle. Watch for that on the right side. A pretty good jam going there. And eastbound traffic on 40 slowing between Lindbergh and Big Bend, and then it opens up. Now, out west, 70, by the way, looks fine. Headed out west, a little slow at Wentzville. 64, just some moderate volume either side of Lake St. Louis Boulevard. And southbound 270, moderate volume from Olive in pockets down through Gravois. And we look pretty good on 55 down south. On the Illinois side, some road work causing delays, 55-64 at 3rd Street. And eastbound 64 approaching 157. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
97.1 FM Talk in action.
It's Mark Cox. Our friends at the USO Missouri are looking for volunteers. From Lambert Airport to Fort Leonard Wood, volunteers help provide comfort and support to those serving our country. Learn more at missouri.uso.org.
I love talking about Generator Supercenter of St. Louis because, honestly, this is maybe the easiest sell job that I have to do. It's such a no-brainer. You have no excuse, ladies and gentlemen, to not get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. It's not going to hurt you at all. Maybe it's something you can't do now. Maybe it is something you can plan for. They have low monthly payments available as well, but these are high-quality generators. A free estimate is just a phone call away, or if you go to the website, they can help you out with that. You don't have to worry about holding on with Ameren. You're going to have independence. Your home is going to kick right back in with natural gas or propane as soon as the power goes out. If you're out of town, you don't have to worry about it. The food's not going to spoil. All kinds of benefits. So if you've ever wondered, and these are really, really great high-quality generators, what they cost or what it would take to get one at your home, you can do it right now. 314-499-2020, Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com.
Missouri's laws are clear. Unregulated gaming devices are illegal. Companies have been telling businesses that gray market machines are legal. That's wrong. Don't be scammed. If you have these devices at your business, you could be subject to criminal and civil penalties. Unplug and remove these devices today.
If you've been approached to host illegal gaming machines, call now 800-523-1434 or visit ago.mo.gov. Sponsored by the Attorney General's Office.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Ready for a fresh start? The Excel Center in St. Louis is here to help you earn your high school diploma, tuition-free and on your schedule. With convenient locations in downtown St. Louis and Florissant, you can learn at your pace with support every step of the way. Need childcare, career coaching, flexible classes? We've got you covered. Registration is now open. Don't wait to take the next step toward your future. Visit excel.mersgoodwill.org to enroll today. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Let's wrap it up with the cut of the day.
Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
And these are just two from J.D. Vance telling the women of The View exactly how it is.
The people that have visited those detention centers, I don't know if you have, talk about the subhuman, infrahuman conditions, the lack of clean water, the lack of medical attention, the lack of education.
We do have to strike a balance, of course, between enforcing our laws. We don't want to dehumanize people. That is the balance that say about this. Law enforcement is always inherently not a very pretty process, especially when you're dealing sometimes with violent people, with people who are resisting arrest. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border.
Just said he loves the inflation.
What he said, Anna, what he said is that he loves the fact that the inflation is going to come down when this war is over. That's what he said.
That's not what he said. That wasn't a direct. Are you his interpreter or are you his vice president? Come on. Okay, so in the book, Mr. Vice President, you make a mea culpa of sorts for calling Democrats childless cat ladies.
Oh, man.
Okay.
My most boneheaded comment.
You say that.
So Joy said when we were off air that I'm fine, which I think is about the best endorsement that I'm going to get out of Joy Behar for a Republican. Thank you.
And that was J.D. Vance on The View. Hey, it's been great. Thank you, Ethan, Sue, and Fred. I'll talk with you tomorrow on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, the closure of 44 in both directions between the Poplar Street Bridge and the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge has caused a jam on eastbound 44 headed for the Poplar tonight. We've also got a jam. There was an accident 64 westbound before you get to Boyle, and that's created some slow traffic. Eastbound traffic slowing between Lindbergh and Big Bend, and southbound 170 is slow, headed for 64. Out west, 70 is in pretty good shape. 64, some moderate volume, headed for the split. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report is brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. That's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Call Point Pest Control, mention Annie, and get 10% off your pest problem. Once summertime hits, ant populations begin to reach peak numbers, maybe even into the millions. Call Point Pest Control before they invade your home. Call Point Pest Control 636-798-0023.
A lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines when it comes to real estate. Are you ready to get off the sidelines? The Gelman team with eXp Realty here in St. Louis, well, they can help you out with that. They are experts. They've been around for a long time. They can give you options, including an instant cash offer. One of the things that they have available for you, and you can do this on your phone, you can do it on your iPad, your computer right now or tonight when you get home. There's a tool on their website. They invested in some great software, and it says, how much is your home really worth? Find out for free. You enter your address, and first of all, the answer might surprise you. You can take it to the next level with Mark and Neil. No one knows this area better than the Gelman team, but maybe it's just a number that you have and you keep in the back of your mind, and then when you want to press go, they're there for you as well. Now, they'll also be honest with you. There are homeowners that are getting certainly above asking prices for their homes, but you may have to stage it. You may have to do some things that needs to be move-in ready. That's why you need experts, and that's why you hire a professional. Look, your home is your biggest investment. The Gelman team with eXp Realty, thegelmanteam.com. Check them out today. Certain restrictions apply.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S.